Open Championship at St Andrews. It doesn't get any better than that.
I don't think I'll ever forget that day when I won.
This is the most coveted title, I think, in golf.
The Open Championship to me is about all of golf for all of time.
The titans of our sport, the greats of our game, have all gotten their hands on a Claret Jug.
Without your support, I don't think I would be a champion right now. Thank you.
Cedric, thank you very much.
I've never enjoyed a walk more than I did coming up the fairway at St Andrews.
You think he enjoyed that one?
Man, this is awesome.
If Nicholas can hold it, he wins.
Well, what would old Tom Morris have said of that?
Eagle 2.
I don't think anything gets cooler than champion golfer of the year.
Welcome to St Andrews.
Welcome to the Open.
Everything has led to this moment, the 150th Open at St Andrews, Scotland, the home of golf. We're here to bring you all the action on the range as the world's top players prepare to win golf's oldest and greatest championship. Slightly different weather conditions today, a lot calmer. The wind is about 7 miles per hour. There are some of the crowd. We're expecting 290,000 through the gates this week. This place is simply magical, getting a bird's eye view early doors. And some of these fans, oh my goodness, they woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and got here at the course at 5:30, had a bit of breakfast. There we go. He's having his. I need mine. Looking forward to a fantastic day ahead. We have every angle covered here on the range. And that is the scene of where we are. We're just to the left-hand side of that picture. Here I am. I'm here with Peter Finch. Peter, this is one of the greatest days in golf. 87 men can claim the title of champion golfer of the year. 18 of them are on the golf course right now. The heart's pounding on the first tee. I can only imagine. Paul Lawrie with the first tee shot at 6:35 a.m. this morning, and the first golfer in history to hit a yellow golf ball off the tee. He found the fairway, made par on the first, dropped a shot on the second. He's currently one over par. But what a day for Paul.
I know. I mean, to have that honour of the first tee shot is always going to be a magical moment. He obviously wanted to put a full stop on that with the yellow ball. Make sure he didn't miss it going down the first fairway.
So what about the light at 6:35? Pretty decent though, wasn't it?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, the weather this morning, as far as scoring goes, is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
I think if you are having an early tee time, obviously the weather can change pretty quickly around here. You've got a chance to get out there early and post a number. I mean, it's probably as calm as it has been since we've been here all week. It's only blowing 5, maximum 10 miles an hour. It's not too cold. Westerly wind, pretty much the same as they've had in the practice rounds.
Yeah.
So there's no, in the nicest way, there's no excuses. Just got to get out there and try and get a score on early.
Yeah, we just had Danny Willett just walk past us on our left-hand side, and you can really tell, you can really feel the difference in sort of attitude today. People are in complete business mode, aren't they? Completely focused.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice and relaxed the first few days. I was just a little bit nervous, bit of nervous energy around. But today it's go time.
Yeah, it certainly is, yeah.
You've got to get in position to put yourself with a chance to win. And, these guys are all going through their routines. They've all got the rangefinders, they've all got the launch monitors out as well.
Yeah.
Just going through those last little preps.
Just having a look at Seamus Power, who we've spoken to a few times this week. He's preparing for his round, winner of the Barbasol Championship on the same day that Colin Morikawa lifted the Open Championship Claret Jug last July at Royal St George's. So Seamus here and enjoying his Open Championship experience. He was over in Ireland for the JP McManus event and really loved being on home soil. And speaking to a lot of the crowd out there, just said it was great, a real confidence boost as well. The preparation that these guys have coming into this event, a lot of them have been over in Ireland playing links courses or one of the normal paths now is to come and play the Scottish Open, play links golf before, which is why it's now co-sanctioned between the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour.
Yeah, the Renaissance as well, the overall feeling was that was the most linksy it has been as well.
Yeah.
So as far as preparation goes for these guys, it's been really, really good. And I quite fancy Seamus actually, since he had that win, he's been on a very consistent run of form as well. And he's one of those players who you do get some unexpected names at times. Climbing up the leaderboard, certainly after the first 2 days, and he's been a good player for a long time, but he's one of those players that you would expect has a chance, like I said, especially with this early tee time.
Yeah, we've been saying over the last 3 days, if you are just joining us for the first time, that this Open has never been more open. So many names in contention, which makes it super exciting. You're seeing so many trackmans, aren't you, on the range coming down here? But if you're tinkering with anything or changing anything right now, you're in trouble, aren't you?
There won't be a single player on this range who is trying to change their swing right now. If they're trying to change their swing right now, they've got bigger problems, haven't they, really? All they're going to be doing with these launch monitors is literally just testing conditions. It's a little bit cooler than maybe it has been during the afternoons of the last few days. So all they'll be doing is it's a few degrees colder. How's that affecting their flights? And then they're just going to put that into their calculations once around the course. Yeah,
it is amazing, the change in weather condition. Yesterday it was about 25 miles per hour, the wind blowing in the afternoon, and the day before. So everyone's wrapped up. I'm sure some of the layers will be coming off as the day progresses. What tee time do you want today? Do you want an early one? Do you want a late one? We've got Tiger Woods later on in the day. Let's have a look at some of them. And just to remind you, Paul Lawrie was the first tee shot at 6:35. We've got John Daly, the 1995 champion. He tees off at 7:52. That's in, what time are we now? That's in about 15 minutes' time, with Bryson DeChambeau, who we've seen with all his devices on the range this week, and Cam Tringali. Moving on to some of the other groups. So it's 12 minutes between each tee time. The bromance continues. Molinari and Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose. We spoke to Tommy yesterday. He was in fine form and associated with the On-Course Foundation and really enjoying working with them. But he was delighted to have this group because he gets on so well with the guys.
That group is what I would call comfortable. Like if they can't find between them a good score, because that's going to help relax them all. I mean, they're going to be in their own zone. I mean, Tommy was saying yesterday he's not really going to be focusing on what the other players are doing. But it helps if you're out with your mates. It's as simple as that. There's no awkwardness. You can talk in between shots. And I'm expecting some good scores from that group. Yeah,
Francesco Molinari, I spoke to Dennis Pugh's coach yesterday. Well, he's now in LA, so he works with somebody over there, but also still liaises with Dennis, who he's been with for, I think over 10 years now. And Dennis was saying, it's great memories from Carnoustie in 2018 with that victory there, but it was a difficult move for Francesco moving over to LA during COVID period, but he's really starting to find his game, and he's feeling that Francesco could do something pretty special this week. First Italian to win an Open Championship. And what do you think?
He hits it straight.
Yeah.
I mean, around this course, you don't need to be massively long. You know, we've seen there was maybe a slight 5 minutes of rain yesterday, and that's not even.
I thought you told me it was about 45 minutes, and it was hailing.
I was being a little bit dramatic. I know. I mean, I was freezing, but it's hardly touched this golf course. If you find the middle of a fairway with a tee shot, if you hit a 3-iron, a drive, it doesn't matter. It's going to be rolling on forever. We saw a clip a few days ago, one of Tiger's drives roll out for 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
That's incredible.
That's going to be half the coverage for the morning. Like the rollout of some of these drives. So
what are your thoughts on Justin Rose in that group?
I mean, again, he's been having splutterings of form, you'd say. I don't think he's quite back to his best yet, but the one thing you say about Justin, he puts in the work.
Yes, he does. He was grafting, wasn't he, yesterday?
I mean, he's achieved everything that you could possibly really want. He's got his majors, he's got his wins, he's got his Ryder Cup heroics, but he's still hungry. And it's good to see. It is good to see.
Yeah, he obviously had that round of 60 at the Canadian Open. He said it's given him a spring in his step. So obviously completely different conditions here on the old course. Let's have a look at some of the other tee times. Colin Morikawa, defending champ, going off at 9:58 with Rory McIlroy. So much attention on Rory, of course, this week, and Xander Schauffele with so many wins of late, coming off that win at the Scottish Open. I mean, what a star-studded group. They're going to get thousands going around with them, aren't they?
That is going to be an absolute power group. And if you ever want to know where that group is on the course, you just follow about the 5,000 people that are going to be going around with them.
Yeah. Rory was on the 17th with our very own George yesterday and putting off the road hole, on the road hole, and got up and down. It was very classy indeed, and also found the green on 18. So George owed him £20, which he borrowed from somebody. Colin. Yeah, in that group just before, Shane Lowry, Justin Thomas and Victor Hovland. Where's your money going between those three?
I mean, my heart obviously goes to Shane, but I think Justin Thomas, like the way he's playing, the way he feels about links golf as well.
Yes.
I mean, if he's not up and around the top of the leaderboard at the end of the week, I'd be very surprised. I'd love to see Victor do well. He's not had great form at the moment, and Shane's always going to be a contender around the links course. And obviously, we're talking about a very recent Open champion here.
Yeah, somebody who loves playing in these different conditions. And JT, who's had a great time over in Ireland, major champ this year. 10.09 they are, and the next group will be, if you add 12 minutes to that, what's your maths doing?
10.20. Fortunately, it's just come on. So
10.09, 10.20, that's 11 minutes, I make it. OK, we'll go with that. Will Zalatoris, runner-up in a couple of majors this year. Incy's going for him this week with Hideki Matsuyama, major champion, and Tony Finau had a great result at Royal Portrush, and I spoke to him on the first tee on Monday, and he was super excited for this one.
I mean, I've seen Hideki and Tony on the range this week, and they do seem to be maybe grinding a little bit more than most. So I wouldn't.
What were they doing with their swings? Anyone?
They were just working. They were trying to find, I think, a little bit of something. Certainly Hideki. I mean, he was here on Sunday when we came, and it was like 30 degrees, and he was on here for hours trying to get something. And then Will Zalatoris, if he doesn't finish in a top 10 of a major, I think the world's coming to an end, really.
Well, we've just got Ash Barty's just walked past us, who Grand Slam champion. Some of the other tee times, Tiger Woods, Matt Fitzpatrick and Max Homa. This is one of the standout groups of the day. We're all reliving Tiger's victories here on the old course, 2000 and 2005. And we've spoken so much about those incredible scores, 19 under, 14 under respectively. And Matt, so much chat about him this week. US Open champion, how do you think he'll do?
I think he'll do great. I mean, he, again, coming down this range, he was one of the most impressive ball strikers so far that we've seen. I can still see his beautiful rectangular patch of divots over there.
Yes.
Very, very jealous of that.
Very impressive. I'm stood here sort of looking around the whole time because we've got a flood of players walking down our right-hand side. We just had Brooks Koepka go from the range to the short game area. And, Ash Barty, which had a little smile from Ash Barty, who's one of my favourite tennis players, who retired this year, of course, played in the celebrity match at the beginning of the week with Kevin Peterson and a couple of an actor and a very famous musician, Brad Simpson, in the Vamps. We had a great celebrity game there. So this is the scene at the moment. There's Bryson, and the crowds are loving seeing him this week. They're right behind him, and so many cheers for him. OK, Pete, we'll stay down here and bring you up to date with what's going on. But for now, let's get to commentary.
Thanks, Di. It's a busy-looking range. This time, apart from all the other days that we've had, it's for real, Simon Holmes. It's for real.
Yeah, there's always going to be a tension. Everything's a little bit more in whispers. Francesco Molinari and Dennis Pugh working away. So I was chatting to Dennis, working a little bit. There's a ball there which is just to try to help Francesco with his start line, and then just all about the rhythm in the takeaway, trying not to get too fast, trying not to get too handsy, trying to keep it connected and re-find an old magic. He had it. He absolutely had it, and it's gone.
Well, he went chasing distance, which sometimes can be the killer thing to do. I don't know if he's still doing the same thing, but the left foot jumps out of the way halfway down.
I think that's still the weight shift that they're working on, but just trying to get chest and arms more connected. Arms have kind of gone and done their own thing, and he just gets trapped under. He was metronomic, though. He was an autopilot.
We might get a look at his left foot very shortly. Let's see. The driver's gone away now, you see. As soon as I mentioned left foot, the driver's gone away.
Wow.
Few pitches?
Yeah, just after you've hit a few tee shots, When's the first driver? Maybe. Oh,
it's a short iron.
Yeah.
It's funny, you think, when you're warming up, you end with the driver and then go and hit a few putts and go. But odd to go from a driver back to shortish iron.
Yeah, maybe he'll have another go at the driver. Let's see where he is in his routine. So there's the footwork. Going to see that weight gently load that right foot, and then that left foot kick for the hit. Weight finish all the way in that heel. That left leg is straight, left leg is posted. Right side went forwards and through it. Just checking his rhythm.
Quite a noisy pair of shoes, aren't they?
Oh, I think if you're going to have shoes like that, you better be really good, and he is. I think he'd get away with that. So let's have a look at his numbers. What do we think this is? An 8 iron?
8-7. I think it's 8. It's got a highish toe in it, so I'm going 8.
I'll go with you, Rob. Yeah, 123 ball speed, so that's a full swing from him. Apex 114. Pretty lofted up there. Really did create a totally new ball flight for himself. When he won the Open, he was, well, again, the hottest man in golf, really. Came out of the Ryder Cup like a superstar.
Short game area pending, I think, for young Molinari now.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's quite a funny place with, when you're on the driving range and you're coaching the guys. You've got a lot of stuff to do. Where are you going to putt? Which putting green do you fancy? And then you've got to get yourself down to the first tee, which is going to be in a buggy. So it everything just takes a little bit of time. Under that very attractive hat, great man, old friend Dennis Pugh. He spent a lot of time on driving ranges.
Well, they'll go and sharpen up the short game. There's plenty of other players.
I don't know where we could turn
the range, that's for sure.
Their voice down, please. It's very confusing.
Looked like a bit of Bobby McIntyre there as he was stepping into it left-handed.
Yeah, I wonder what do you think? Does a left-handed player have an advantage around here, or neutral?
Well, the wind is left to right on the way out. I've got to think that is going to help a left-hander, no question. And then coming back in, the right to left is probably going to help the right-hander.
Honours even then, maybe. They say Masters has an advantage lefty, and there'll be some great left-handed winners there. The grinder. Justin Rose working on his sequence. Let's see. Little downswing thought he's got for keeping those arms in front of him. Get that club to exit left. He played so well in Canada. Could it be his week? Would he get the double, the US Open and the Open Championship?
Well, he's a clever player, and I think you've got to be clever to win around St Andrews, because time and time again you're asked questions and you've got to come up with the answer, and I think Justin's one of those thinkers. So there are better signs for him with his game.
Oh, I think that's right, and I think, you could he's moved back to England. There's some changes. Get your kids organised in school. He's a family man.
Good on him and his wife Kate, by the way, with that Rose Series, keeping that going and giving young women professionals a chance to compete against each other.
Yeah, we need as much as that as we can. Got to look after our golfing sisters. The ladies' game is just, well, looking for a dominant player, but it's exciting at the top for the LPGA players, LET.
I caddied for Incy Mehmet at Sunningdale in the Rose Series, and she lost in the playoff. She was, brilliant. With Dame Laura was in the group. It was just a fabulous day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Incy didn't quite get it done, but she was magnificent. But Justin was there with Kate and the kids, taking full part, and it was really good.
Yeah, every credit Justin Rose, and to Kate as well. Very, very important. So Justin Rose, come on Justin, let's get a great result here. So let's have a little bit of a look at his numbers here.
I don't like the way the back is. He's kind of gingerly bending over there like it's sore. He has had back issues.
Little 3-wood positional play off the tee, that's going to be important. He'll probably have like a general routine, and then there'll be a few shots that he's really trying to feel as though, okay, if I'm on this tee and I'm going to hit this shot, let me just practice that again.
See, that does not look like a comfortable move to me.
That part there, that's a very, very ginger part, isn't it, there? footwork of Justin Rose. That left leg is going to take the pressure of the hit. There it is. Just rotates onto the outside there. But this is what we're looking at here. Justin Rose, watch him go down here. Is that a man who's got a fantastic looking back? Not so sure.
Not for me. Certainly it's a weak point in his physiology, because there have been back issues as he's gone through his career. He's a very deliberate type of swinger, the way he plays. Very correct, I would describe Justin Rose.
I just think he's so methodical, isn't he? I mean, when he exploded onto our screens as a young amateur at the Open, and his journey all the way through didn't always start so good. I think he's earned every single thing he's got.
Nice grip.
Yeah, everything's classic, isn't it? I remember watching him. That looks sore to me. That's under speed. So,
well, he's protecting it, so let's hope that he's going to sort of loosen up as the day evolves and he can play and compete. Let's hope. Awful to have to withdraw with an injury. Let's move along to Tommy Fleetwood, who I always think has got a nice links style action.
Yeah, well, he's from links land, isn't he? Just a great ball striker. I love the way he hits his irons, so crisp. A little bit of wrist lag, and then that short snap. I love that finish. It's so compacted, not a sort of a floppy finish, but really a brisk finish.
He's been with his caddy Fino a long time now.
Yeah, I think long relationships in golf. Have a long relationship with your coach, have a long relationship with your caddy. There'll be a time when you need them. Yes, that's crucial. Yeah, you don't want to be, golf wives, long-suffering, lovely golf wives.
Come on, you hammers. He's waiting for Billy Horschel.
Yeah, he might be. Billy Horschel. What a top dog he is as well, Billy Horschel. One of the great Americans. I love it when the guys, Americans like Freddie Couples, Davis Love, always used to go on the road, show their game. Great ambassadors. Oh.
I think Paul McGinley signed that, because he's a West Ham fan as well. 100%. That's a Paul McGinley's got his scribble on that. That's devalued that shirt by 50%.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see what Tommy Fleetwood's doing here. So, 131 ball speed. Might be a 6-iron. In there with Graham. Right, Fleetwood. Watch the rhythm here. Like the change of direction. And the snap of the finish. Look at that long right side through the ball. Left arm across. That's a great way to play your irons. We could all learn from that. So, slightly under speed. Little baby fade there.
Is that sawn off position on the way through, trying to hold off the hook?
I think that was the original drill. Like, absolutely. He used to work underneath it and then sort of be too wrapped over with his hands. So he's always working on plane and exit. See, that right arm's really across his body there. Just trying to keep that club out in front. So I'd say that's about a full 6-iron, I would say, for Tommy Fleetwood. Right in his. I think that's exactly what he was trying to do there.
Should be just warming up now. This shouldn't be practice. This should be just warming up, getting loose, because we're going. We've done all our homework. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah, I think that.
No, you don't want to be on here trying to find something.
No, if then you're in desperation mode. If you've still got a lot of work to do. So, good grip from Tommy Fleetwood. Very neutral. Hands just hold the club. The longer finish for the driver. That's great ball speed there. Super from him. Look at that. How long will that roll out? Fairways are like runways, like glass.
So another crack with the driver. Let's have a look. Lower ball flight, holding that one, trying to keep the ball flight down.
Yeah, little sawn off finish there. You can see the apex just 100 feet. So not the Super Stinger. Super Stinger's right around 60 feet. We've seen Tiger Woods use that a lot in his warm-ups.
Right, well, we'll leave Tommy bashing away with his driver. Let's see if he just makes a nice connection with this one. Look at the watch and the glove with the swoosh. It's a marketeer's dream, that. Look at that. Lovely. Tommy warming up. Let's catch up with George Harper. Where are you, George?
So this is the route that the players take. They get dropped off right here. And look who it is behind me, the wild thing. John and John. John Daly and John Daly Jr. Door-to-door service here at the Open Championship. I'm sure these two are excited. Morning, boys. How are you? Good to see you again. Love the pants. Look at that for a statement. That is as casual as you come before your first tee shot at the 150th Open. 1995 champion John Daly. What a moment that was in history. I won't go into the details of what happened on the 18th green, but that's where we are headed. Over the bridge. And into one of the best spots in golf. There's some walks in sport that are just better than most. Morning, John Jr. Enjoy the day, mate. Here he is. Pretty cool stuff. Imagine caddying for your dad on the old course. John Daly's here looking luscious in the wind, which has picked up since I last spoke to you, and that was no more than 15 minutes ago. It's a chilly wind, and once again, it's off the left shoulder heading outward bound, so very similar to the last couple of days, which will suit the left-handers on the front nine. I know Bob McIntyre was hoping for this wind, and he's got it. When you get to the first green, it's all of a sudden quite silent, quite eerie. The other range and the range putting green, there's fans everywhere. It's bubbling, but then you get here and you realise, right, this is the big dance. This is where we start our round. So there's definitely just a little bit more tension here. Unless you're John Daly and you're just knocking in 12 footers. Casual as you like. He's been here, done that. But it's great to see, as I have the start sheet in my hand, there's plenty of big names coming throughout the day. A nice little wave ahead, so stay tuned. Whew. Just getting distracted by all the amazing things to watch here. This is where they meet their scorers, meet their scorers. They've got their own bunker raker. I need one of those. Spin 18 holes with a professional golfer is always good fun. But there you have it. There's the walk to the first tee.
The champion golfer of the year, Tom Watson. To the next 150 years of open golfers, respect the game.
And it's there. Watson has this desperately difficult third shot to play.
These links courses have been around long before you were born, and will be here long after you're gone. But don't get mad at the wind, the rough, or the bounces. You're in the hands of Mother Nature, after all. Play hard, but play fair. Be known for winning, or losing, in the right way. If you're lucky enough to have your name etched on the Claret Jug, look at those names before you. Realize that everything has led to this.
Had a chat with Tom Watson yesterday, newly married, and life is good for Tom. 5 Claret Jugs as well, by the way, on the shelf.
A great man, another great golfing brain with a superb putting stroke. Who can ever forget the 77 Turnberry contest against Jack Nicklaus, his arch rival. Great men, lovely to have them back at the home of golf.
I think that spectator with the West Ham shirt, it's prominent, is waiting for Billy Horschel's eye to catch it. I do believe that.
And Billy is the man who would see that, recognise that, and he'd scribble on that with pleasure.
I mean, this has been a plan for a long time. I'm going to the Open and I'm going to bring my West Ham shirt. This has been a plan that's been in place for some time.
You know what? You cannot beat a young sports fan. Always got time for those guys.
Now, Billy's got the West Ham bag to boot, by the way.
Yeah, Billy Horschel. Played so well at Wentworth. Became great to see him, if you get a chance to see that. So he's really just working on a couple of fields there. He's been trying to get recently sort of a shorter arm swing going back, so just trying to set that position on the top. Tends to get a little bit of lift, and then that just changes the place where his weight shift goes. Very good ambassador of golf, again, one of the top American stars. It's so important for those guys to keep moving around, show their faces all over the world.
As a fashion expert, Simon, I'm passing this to you. The hoodie, I think, looks great, but what is the value of a hoodie when it's windy and it's sort of flapping around behind your head and stuff?
I think that I am not a fashion expert, but I like it, the fact that you come to me with this sort of stuff, Rob. I think that is the price of fashion. Sometimes you might get in the way of your performance, but that is what fashion's all about. At least that's what I'm told.
It's a fast transition, isn't it? From the top of the swing, it's really snappy.
It really is. And when it's long and snappy, he can get narrow and stuck. So we're just having a look at Billy Horschel's shot there. Popped it over onto the first, so...
Nobody's hitting driver down the first today. No. It's a long iron or a hybrid or something.
Well, we saw guys, hit quite close up. I would have thought the club is not to get too close to the burn and kind of leave yourself a full shot. We've seen a couple of really good swings go down the first. Still birdie free, I think. So Billy Horschel will soon be sending one down there.
Into the water again. In our virtual world. Oh, he carried that little elbow.
Yeah, that's not the shot. That is not the shot. So, Billy Horschel, 168. That's just cruising right around the PGA Tour's average in terms of ball speed. So, the data, the technology has advanced so much with all of the different measuring devices. And you can see the players, used to see a player, especially on a links course, sort of follow his ball flight. Now it's immediately look down to see. So there's an iPad there on the ground showing the data from the device that's placed behind him. So Billy Horschel checking his numbers. Am I getting the performance that I want?
Had that one teed down, so he was trying to flight it down on that occasion, Billy.
Yeah, you can see that apex number there, 70 feet. So that's at least 30 feet underneath his normal shot there, but the club speed, the ball speed was just dropped a little bit as well. So just working on his kind of lower ball flights, something just would never do really in the United States. You can see that ball really teed down there, all the ball underneath the top of his driver. That's the position he's trying to get to. Make sure you're turning the club there. Don't get your arms to go too long. Get long running arms is a problem. And rip it with your hips.
Nice and low again. 57 feet, even lower.
The stinger.
Well, the thing is, nobody's hit any shots really into the wind. You with this breeze, you play 10 into the wind, the short par 4. That's about it. Everything else is crosswind.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, isn't it? It is going to be, you know, that's a course that's withstood the test of time. You know, always come here and say, we're going to shoot 59s and all that sort of stuff. The test is still right out there in front of you. You've got to be a shot maker. I think Billy Horschel is a good shot maker.
Okay, we'll leave Billy Horschel to swish away with his irons and rejoin Di, who's got a guest alongside.
Thanks very much, Rob. Billy is literally directly behind us. Delighted to be joined by Dennis Pugh, coach to Francesco Molinari, and also Stephen Dodd as well. Yeah. Dennis, you were up very early, but Francesco's just teed off and you're not there.
No, he's a long walk back there,
okay,
so I thought I'd just pick him up on the second tee, a lot easier. But he was in good spirits this morning on the range. He seemed nice and relaxed, that's the key thing.
Yeah, great. How's his form at the moment?
It's starting to show up some good form. It's the move to LA was difficult during COVID times, and Jamie Mulligan, the coach of Patrick Cantlay, works with him in LA. So we're a double act. You know, Walker and Wise, Pugh and Mulligan. Okay. Mulligan's a great name for a golf coach.
It's a great name, absolutely. Yeah, you said yesterday it was a bit of a tough move, but you're seeing a difference in his game right now.
Yeah, he's more confident with what he's doing, and the ball strikes back, and he's a very solid driver of the ball, as everyone knows that follows the game. Yeah. His tee shots are key for him.
And was he excited about the group that he's in? Because we were talking about it at the top of the show with Justin Rose and Tommy Fleetwood. It's a bromance between Fleetwood and Molinari, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Justin's going to feel the leftover there. He's going to feel left out as those two go round. It was fun. They played practice round yesterday. Tommy was chit-chatting away, and he's talking about moving to Dubai. In August they're going to spend more time in Dubai. I'm not sure if it's a permanent move, but it sounds interesting. Plenty of good weather for practice, eh?
Yeah. You didn't tell me that yesterday.
I was going to
top tips coming out.
I was going to say from October to February. Why wouldn't you? Crikey, bit of heat.
Yeah, it's going to be good for his game. It's going to be really good.
I think from with Francesco, obviously he got to really the top of the game and then kind of fell away a little bit. When you're working on his swing and his game, is it just reminding him of what he's done well in the past, getting back to it, or is it just a constant change?
Good point, Peter. What's happening with him now is he's coming up to his 40th birthday. Not much he doesn't already know, but he has to be reminded, because it's the thing about golf is, and you know you're a good player yourself, is that you just got to do the same things, the basics, very well. And people are always looking for these great, like, pick something out sky, it'd be perfect, and I'll be open champion again in his case. It's more like, remember what got you there, keep doing it. It's very boring, it's very dull, very repetitive, but very successful when it gets right.
Absolutely. And if outside your two players this week, who do we think? If they can't win, who's got a chance?
You know, that's like really hard. Like, what number's going to win the lottery? I'd love if it can't be Frankie, then it'd be Tommy. I mean, that would be fantastic. Looking at the field, it's so deep in talent, and of course here the weathers can change so quickly. The ground is rock hard. I've never seen the course play as hard as this, and I've been here about 15 times. And what I'm really doing is sitting on the fence. I'm not
I was going to say, absolutely not saying anything at all there. Yeah.
Told you nothing.
So I'm used to it, Dennis. Stephen Dodd, tell us, his entry was because
he won the seniors at Senior Open at Sunningdale last year.
Fantastic.
And he's defending next week. But this week he's typical. Anyone that knows Stephen will know he's a pretty relaxed guy. So he shows up. He Tuesday showed up, played at 16 holes, got to the 17th tee, so there's a bit of delay, so I walk in. He didn't even, I know where they are.
Okay.
And that's a good way of preparing.
Grafting.
Yeah,
Well, actually, you know, he has played this course many times before.
Times.
And Paul Lawrie was saying, actually, before his tee time today, he was going to only hit about sort of 30, 40 balls. Some of these guys who have so much experience in their bones don't necessarily need to go and flog themselves at the beginning of the week. But what time is he teeing off, and how do you think he'll do this week over the next few days?
Well, he's teeing off in about an hour and a half's time, so
when do you expect him on the range then?
About 10 minutes before his tee time. I think he'll do well because he's a good links course player. And the thing is that the experience counts a lot on a course like this, because you've got to be really patient. The breaks are going to go with you, they're going to go against you, you're going to make a putt, you're going to miss a putt, and at the end of the day it's how well you handle yourself as well as the golf course.
Danny Willett's behind you on your left shoulder. Have you ever had Danny Willett on your left shoulder before?
No,
what do you make of his swing right now, Dennis? I know you've been taking a look.
Well, with Danny, he's won the Masters, so he's a quality player. The thing that he looks like he's swinging well, but his form goes up and down, and he reminds me a little bit. And you think about most of the players will say it goes up and down, but when Rory McIlroy's on, he's really on. When Danny Willett's on, he's also really on. So they can achieve great heights. Never worry about the lows in golf because everyone's going to have them. How high can you go?
What's he doing? What apparatus has he got there? Pete, you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll both know.
Yeah, it's a swing ball. It basically just helps keep the arms connected to the body turns. Simple as that, really. He'll just be trying to get his body working and controlling the club face a bit more with the body. Mind you, he's got quite a few things.
He's just moved that on the floor, though. He's just moved one of them on the floor.
And here's Steve here.
Stephen, can we have a quick word? Will you come and just say hi to us? How are you doing, Stephen? You okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, great stuff. Dennis said you were probably going to turn up 10 minutes before your tee time, which he's full of faith, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm a lot better than that now. It's 45 now, is it? Something like that. So.
Oh, sorry, what time do you tee off?
9, just after 9.
Okay. Who are you playing with?
Lee and JT Poston.
Okay, great stuff. You played 16 holes yesterday. There was a delay on the 17th tee. You thought, I'm going to go in.
Day before, yeah.
Okay.
So drove
You've played that hole so many times before.
Yeah, but not like this. It's a bit different. So, yeah, I look forward to today. It's the wind's not as strong as yesterday, so we'll see what today brings.
Great stuff. And you're defending next week your title. How are you feeling about these couple of weeks? It's an exciting time for you.
It is, yeah. It is exciting. So. Form hasn't been great, so I'm not really expecting a huge amount, but you never know at golf, do you?
Well, you need to get some top tips from Dennis. Dennis, what can you tell him before he goes out?
The name's Pew, not Merlin.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, he needs one swing thought before he goes out, or am I just throwing something into the equation that doesn't really need to be thrown in?
Oh, I see. It sounds like you know more than we do. You may be the Merlin that we need here.
Well, listen, I'm wishing you the best of luck, Stephen. And nine, what was it?
9:03.
I'm glad you remembered. We'll watch out for you. Go and have a bit of practice.
Thanks a lot. See you later.
Take it easy. So, we've offered some key advice just before his tee time. Great to speak to him. I mean, this is a really special occasion. I know he's underplaying it as well, but to be here, he will be super excited, won't he?
Yeah, Steve doesn't get overly excited, as you saw there, but inside it's churning up. Yeah. He's getting the engine fires going. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, listen, we'll let you go. We'll prowl the range a little bit more, but for now, Dennis, we'll go and get a cup of tea. Let's go and find George. He's out and about. Over to you, George.
All right, so we've got the walking scorers hut in here, and this is where they get everything prepared. Signs everywhere. They set them out here, and then everyone gets assigned a role. And then they make the famous walk. If you're a walking scorer, it's not all the players that have got the nerves. There's other people out here that have been challenged, and we've got a very exciting group to follow to the first tee here. And look at this. Molinari, Fleetwood and Rose. Exciting stuff.
Hello.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I am. It should be good fun, thank you. Yeah.
You're pretty happy with your group today?
Yeah, I'm lucky. It should be good.
Nice. Who's your favourite of the three?
Fleetwood or Rose, obviously. They're British, yeah.
Very good. All right, well, let's get to the tee. Let's get to where we need to be. Now, after speaking to one of the managers before, they tell me it's a complete luck of the draw. So you put your name in the hat, and see what teams you get. The only way to do it, really. So you can apply online, and if you're lucky, you get some big names. And I was thinking, surely you can do some insider trading. You know, if your friend's got your favourite, you've got theirs, swap on over. But they've got to carry this thing around for about 6 hours, so they get their nice pouch, the shoulder strap to help them through it. And off they go. In terms of a volunteer's job, this one has to be right at the top of the pecking order. You get to cruise around and watch the best in the world go at it and play every shot. And my, oh my, you've got to concentrate as well if you're on the scoring. All right, so where do we go now? Up through here? I don't know. Yeah, come on through here. This way. You'll get a chance to meet their players as well at the end of the round. A lot of thank yous. So they wait here just now as things pick up. This is a really busy part of the starters hut. We've got the big camera boom here, and a few fans just here trying to get the best seat in the house. Fantastic. This is also one of my favourite roles here. If I could just look at this, you know. So this is your role all day, just raking bunkers.
Yeah. I'm hoping you're going to help me out, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind it. You get close to the action,
exactly.
Don't you?
No, get inside the ropes and see what's going on. It's quite nice, yeah.
What's your technique, mate? What's the perfect raking technique?
Just keep it flat and smooth, and you won't get complaints then.
Well, hopefully they don't go on the bunkers too much, you can just watch the golf.
That'll be a nice, easy morning. That'll be nice, yeah.
All right, well, enjoy it. You've got a great group, mate. So well done. I can say it all day, another feature group. There's so many of them here at the Open. It's the big dance. Molinari, Fleetwood and Rose are about to head off.
It's always exciting working towards a tee time. You've done your practice for the week. You've been on to Misery Hill in the morning before you crack on with your challenge for an Open, a Claret Jug. Always tingly moments. Busy, busy, busy. But this time we're seeing players coming for their slot, Simon. It's not like the whole range is jammed like we've seen for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday.
No, exactly. I think at the Open probably you'll be there, an hour and 10 before, only because you've got to go chipping, you've got to go putting, and then you've got to get yourself all the way back down to the first tee. So there's a little bit of movement there. And it's just a pre-prep. The coaches kind of trying to keep out of the way. Okay, listen, can you remember this? And then the players maybe just trying to get a feel for the shots that they think that they're going to need when they go out onto the golf course. Lee Westwood just going through his routine. He's already got to driver. Deliberate there. It's amazing. It's like the club moves, but no feet moving. And he has probably been one of the best drivers of a golf ball in the world. Just played golf for about 12 years, 280 yards in the middle of every single fairway. And it was the putter probably of all the clubs that was just not as cooperative. Has not yet got a major championship. Time is just slowly running out for a guy like Lee Westwood. Has he got one more amazing performance in him?
Amazingly still before he starts the backswing, almost to the point where he's thinking, it looks like when we're watching him, he's thinking, right, shall I start now? Shall I start now? Shall I start now?
Yeah, if we watch that, I agree. It's always been, and he's always done it. I mean, from when he came out. So
never been any different.
Never been any different. Pete Cowan there has been long time eyes for.
I thought Robert Rock was teaching Lee Westwood.
Oh, I think some of the players go through rotated coaches. So Lee Westwood, no movement of his feet. Look at that, body totally still. And then what's the trigger to go? Go, boom. So, still tons of speed in the Westwood swing. Fit, strong and fit, Lee Westwood. Got very sort of upper body bulky. Not sure if that was the best thing for his swing a number of years ago, but nevertheless, some performer. Just those Ryder Cup moments. Remember him and Darren Clarke going out there for the European team, duffing up Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, or anyone, any comers really. Still and move. Nice high right side all the way through the ball.
9 degrees of launch, Simon. That's fairly low.
Yeah, I think he's probably just thinking of a lower apex shot this week. You know, I mean, it's not windy at the moment, but it's gonna be windy, and it's a heavy air at St Andrews. I think it's one of the aspects of when you're trying to go through your numbers and you are hitting into the wind and the crosswinds, it just seems to whack it out a little bit more than anywhere else. So you can see 290 carry there for Lee Westwood. Let's see what shot he's got here. I would say it's probably normal. He's not a high ball hitter. He isn't a high ball hitter. Came from the old school, sees it kind of staying low. He'd never hit one sort of 156 feet, as we saw from Bryson DeChambeau. A little bit higher launch there, but still 72 apex. That's a low ball flight. Little baby draw. Not sure that's going to be the most important club this week. I think it's going to be your putter. So a little bit of movement there. And now 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a drill. So just a little takeaway drill there. So still. And then what's the trigger? A little kick maybe with the hips before he gets going, just to get himself into motion. But it's so consistent, isn't it? That's the draw. 172 ball speed, that's plenty. Absolutely plenty.
So now maybe going to a little Twizzler of a club that might be the one he's using off the first tee. Could be. It's long iron or a hybrid.
Yeah, I think that's right. You know, that was what Nicklaus always did, and we're going to see definitely that Tiger Woods will do that. Tiger Woods follow that same thing. So the last shot he hits is going to be a recreation of the first shot that he's going to use on the first hole. So feet still. Last tiny waggle. Little kick of the hips. So some sort of a 3-wood, and what we've done is we've just sort of cut and paste that onto.
We've sort of put the hotel in the wrong place, haven't we? We put the hotel in the wrong place.
And this had a bounce. Oh no, that would be bad. So, oh, it's fun taking the shot that Westwood had, put it over onto the 17th hole.
If you're playing 17 from that new tee, that's where you want to hit it, where those downward arrows are. That one there would find the fairway that's just gone off like a missile.
Ooh.
Oscar Bravo.
Oscar Bravo. But that's not far. And it's amazing, you know, there have been guys hitting it so far down there, Rob, this week. Guys just sort of going, okay, well, I'll just take driver and go down as far as I can. I'm not sure that's the play.
Dame Laura Davis is staying in the Old Course Hotel this week.
The great Dame. Amazing.
If I had a room number, I'd give it away and you could go and charge your drinks to her room. You know, she'd enjoy that.
She loves that.
She'd love that.
Does her best work there. Here we go. So, be hearing from Dame Laura Davis and Trish Johnson during the coverage.
So he's gone driver, fairway wood, and now sand wedges.
Yeah, just some little floppy sandwiches there, just trying to get the bounce. It's a very interesting turf. It's a turf like no other, and it just ricochets, so you just need to make sure you're really crisp on your impact. Don't get too much bounce into the ball. Mike Walker. Lee Westwood makes his way over onto the short game, and wish him well for a great week.
That left to right breeze is still as it was all week long. Those flags pretty much going parallel with the back edge of that stand, looking down that fairway. So everyone has played this course and conditions haven't changed. So, you know, that's how you want it to be. You don't want a surprise on Thursday morning. You want it to play the same way that you practiced. Of course, we are right alongside the coastline here, so it can change violently at St Andrews, but it seems fairly settled. Southwesterly, and that looks to be the same. But not as heavy as it was certainly on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. It was really pumping right across this range. It's not as heavy now.
No, it's not. Definitely not. Similar direction, as you say, and it does move around. You know, and there's little angles. It's all about the angles. If you see the players coming in and they're sitting there going, okay, where should I hit the ball on 4? What's the shot on 4? Where should we be? So then, if the wind changes here, if I land it there, so there's all sorts of different shots being discussed to make sure your strategy is absolutely right.
Now, Danny Willett used to be a Cowan man, and then he went to see Sean Foley to try and get the swing, because at one point it was so short and so 3/4 at most. It was a real struggle for him, and he's worked long and hard to get the swing longer.
Yeah,
and give himself more time to get back to the ball.
So we're going to see just that hand there. Mike Walker is somewhere around there, and there he is, hidden behind Callaway golf hat. He is just keeping an eye on Matt Fitzpatrick and Danny Willett, and sometimes you're trying to get better as a player.
So has Willett left Foley now?
I would think so.
How many coaches can you have?
Oh, I think you can have as many as you want.
No, I think that's a bad thing to do. Bad.
Well,
just have one coach.
Yeah, I agree. He's back in safe hands now. So you try to get better, and you think, well, this is where I am right now with this team, and if there's a little bit of magic for me there, and you chase magic, and most of the time there's no magic, and it doesn't work, and you have to go back. And that's one of the difficult things of a coach. You get hired and fired a lot. You've got to be bulletproof. It's a difficult game. Everyone's trying to get better. It's a Gordian knot. So here we go.
Did you say a Gordian knot?
It is. It's the impossible thing. Your golf swing, your brain, the whole thing. It's just an endless mess, isn't it? And you just have to run with your good patches and be patient for your bad patches. And it's a difficult game.
You're psychotic in your bad patches, and you're the nicest man in the world in your good patches.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's golf. And they can go on. You could be great on the front nine and a catastrophe on the back nine.
You've worked with a few lads that struggle between the ears, Simon. Care to run through them?
I probably won't do that now, Rob. But oh man, yeah, you've got to really look at that. The Willett grip. Love that little finish, exiting across the body. Lots of hip rotation. Trying to keep the lateral out, trying to get it to rotate, keep the hands out of the impact. So, from the ground, a little bit of a tuck of that the shirt underneath the right arm, just a little connection drill. We saw him earlier with a little swing ball, which helps him feel arms and chest connected. So that's obviously the major focus for the Mike Walker, Danny Willett combo. So one of the wedges, low shot. Does he have the magic, Masters magic?
He's got a magic golf bag.
I love that golf bag. I think that's great. It's a Loch Ness Monster on there.
Young girl called Iona was the winning designer.
Yeah,
They've got a couple of schools
her.
involved.
Yeah. And if you're walking around St Andrews, or maybe we'll have pictures of them, there are Callaway golf bags hidden all over. I thought that was great from Callaway Golf, getting involved with the local community.
I've got a daughter called Iona. We've got Iona Stephen working with us.
Yeah.
The world all of a sudden, from not having one, is full of Ionas.
But you know what? An Iona Stephen is lovely. She's fantastic.
Oh, I think she's got a dark side. I think there's a dark side there.
Doug Stephen.
Doug Stephen. Brian Harmon, left-hander, American, not a tall man. And by the way, when he gets things going against him on the golf course, interesting to watch in a Tyrrell Hatton type way.
Yes, that woolly hat that he's got on there is asbestos, just to keep the thoughts in there. Great putter. Not sure it's woolly hat weather. What happens when it really gets windy?
It is from where he lives.
Yeah, that's actually probably true.
This is cool weather for an American that would live in the hot places.
Yeah. Here we go. One of the lefties. Always difficult for an American to come over and adjust for 1 week.
He's streaky, Simon. Brian Harman is a streaky player. He can make a bunch of birdies because he's got the putter with the biggest putting head on it you've ever seen. It's like a manhole cover, but he can wield it so well. And on these greens, which are, I think, the best they've ever been at St Andrews, the putting surfaces are fantastic for links golf.
Yeah.
So I expect Brian Harman to have a good day.
Yeah, and I think putting is absolutely crucial around here. You just have so many 90-footers. They'll be slow for an American. They're only just over 10 on the stimp meter today. So it's just to get your head round having such long putts. Just the undulations, the hidden pins, the funny angles. It's very hard to get yourself cozied into a good position underneath the hole. So let's have a look at his shots here. Certainly not one of the longest hitters, so slightly underneath PGA Tour average there. Nice high shot though. Just clipping a few away.
Well, we are live at the range, so anything that happens, we are all over it. Here's Di.
Thanks very much, Rob. Yeah, we've had some breaking news that unfortunately Justin Rose, the Englishman, is out of the Open Championship. He had to withdraw on the first tee, Pete, he was meant to play with Tommy Fleetwood and Francesco Molinari, but he's pulled out with a back injury. We know Rosie's been... He's had a few back injuries in the past that have really affected his career, hasn't he? So a real shame that he's had to pull out.
I mean, he was struggling a little bit during the practice rounds.
Yeah.
And he's obviously left it until literally the very last moment. Because, you know, this is the Open. It is the Open, being the 150th as well. Like, you want to give yourself the most time, but unfortunately it just looks like he couldn't swing.
Yeah, this was earlier on today, him on the... practice range, but because he's pulled out on the first tee, there's always a first reserve waiting, and Rikuya Hoshino from Japan got in with 1 minute to spare. The RNA always have the reserves around, and I've got eyes on them the whole time, and he was told, Hoshino was told to dash to the first tee, and he made it, and he's playing in the Open Championship. Now the first reserve is Aaron Rai, who's just had a phone call, and his reception wasn't that great, so he's been told to be in an area with great phone reception. He's got until 4:16, the last tee-off time today. But we're looking at Rosie, who's now not part of this year's Open Championship. A real disappointment, because he's come into this off the back of... a decent result at the Canadian Open, and you know, we know Rosie in previous Open Championships is his first one back in 1998 burst onto the scene, didn't he? He loves this Open.
And you can kind of see, I mean, he seems to be swinging quite freely in these videos, but he keeps looking back at someone, and every time he looks back at the ball, there's a look on his face that just shows that something's not quite right there.
And how difficult is it to play golf when you do have a niggle?
I mean, there's certain injuries that you can have that you can swing around.
Yeah.
You can't get away from a bad back. Like, there's so much twisting, there's so much motion involved around your core that if something's not right there, you're going to feel it on every shot. And it's not only that, it's just simple things, like you're bending down to put tees in the ground, picking the ball out of the hole. It's just uncomfortable, and
he looks a bit uncomfortable there, doesn't he? When
exactly.
He's
just putting the tee in, and you can see he's in pain. I mean, if there was a chance that he could have got round 18, he would have played.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And obviously he's pulled that like literally pretty much on the first tee.
Yeah.
So he's give it as long as possible.
So it does give the opportunity to the first reserve to play here in the Open, and what a day for Hoshino, who's gone off with Tommy Fleetwood and Francesco Molinari. But really disappointing, because the crowds here up in Scotland would have followed Rosie, wouldn't they? They'll still follow the bromance that is Francesco and Tommy Fleetwood. But it's a great system here, isn't it? The R&A having tabs on first reserves and getting them to the tee time just in time, because Hoshino made it with 1 minute to go.
I mean, for Hoshino, it's a horrible situation for Justin.
Yeah.
But at the very same time, we do have to remember now there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
For someone who literally this morning wouldn't really have expected this. He'd have been in a kind of bad way hoping that he would play.
Yeah.
But now, with only a few minutes to spare, he's out on the course with one of the marquee groups in front of the biggest crowds the Open's ever going to see. I mean, that is quite the turnaround in a very short space of time. So for him, like, this could be an amazing week now.
Yeah.
We just don't know. I think it's going to go one of two ways.
Yeah.
He's either going to be so nervous and excited he's going to shoot an amazing round. He's going to be so nervous and excited he might have a bad one.
Okay.
But good luck to him for this.
Yeah, and to remind our viewers that Aaron Rye is now the first reserve, and he has the opportunity until 4:16 p.m, which is the final tee time on this opening day of the Open Championship. It is a little bit cold, so I can imagine it wasn't a comfortable experience for Justin Rose on the range this morning, because you want the body warmed up, don't you? So we wish him the best and we hope he recovers very quickly. But for now, let's go to some of the key holes here at the Old Course with Kit Alexander.
The first hole on the Old Course has one of the widest fairways in golf and only measures 375 yards. But don't get complacent. With the prevailing wind into and from the left, there is a preference for hitting the approach from the right-hand side of the fairway. A safer tee shot down the left leaves a tougher approach, with the wind directly across the player and landing onto a hard and fast putting green. The Swilcan Burn comes into play down the right of the fairway and in front of the putting green. The second hole measures 452 yards, and it's a blind tee shot over the gorse, so the player has to commit to the right line off of the tee. But that correct line will change depending on the hole position. If it's on the left of the green, the play is down the right side of the fairway, and that risks bringing the pot bunkers into play in the right-hand rough. And the prevailing wind, well, that pushes balls in that direction. Anything left-hand side of the fairway will set up a second shot with a hard left-to-right wind onto a green that throws the ball right on landing. With the course playing hard and fast this week, picking the right club and landing spot is absolutely vital. Hole positions on the right are also protected by two large pot bunkers built ahead of the last Open in 2015. A 4 here is a very good score. The 480-yard fourth is another blind tee shot. The ideal line off the tee will again depend on the pin position. Long hitters may try to thread the needle and hit down a 15-yard stretch between the cottage bunker and thick rough. Taking a safer line down the 15th fairway is an option, but a small pot bunker awaits, and anyone finding that is likely to drop at least a shot. The further left you take your tee shot, the more your approach will ride that wind and kick off the left to right sloping green. That would leave a really tricky chip for your third shot. The green falls significantly from left to right and is more severe the further back the hole location is placed. If the hole is at the back, there is a greater onus on playing in from the right side of the fairway. The second par 3 on the course is arguably one of the toughest greens in world golf, with severe slopes from left to right and a prevailing wind from the left as well. Everything feels against the golfer at the very far end of the links. The large hill bunker to the left and strath bunker short along the false front, and the drop-off at the rear of the green reduced the target area significantly. Any tee shot that lands to the left of the hole will result in a difficult downhill putt. Shot shape is important here, with many players hitting a right to left to hold the ball against the wind. The 12th hole only measures 351 yards, but it's deceptively tricky because of a series of fairway bunkers that can't be seen from the tee. The prevailing wind is often helping, so the longer hitters have a chance at taking on the green. Others will choose to lay up short of the bunkers, leaving a long second shot into a challenging, heavily contoured putting surface. The top level of the two-tiered green is only 12 paces deep and demands pinpoint accuracy when the flag is located there. Whatever weather conditions, this is a great opportunity to make a birdie. The 13th hole measures 465 yards. The treacherous coffin bunkers await the tee shot with the prevailing wind out of the right. Once again, the strategy depends on hole location. If it's on the left or the middle of the green, a drive down the 13th fairway is appropriate. When the flag is on the right, the longer hitters may choose to go down the 6th fairway, over or left of the coffin bunkers. It's important to hit the approach with the correct shape to hold it against the wind and the contours of the green. That can be the difference between a birdie chance or a very real danger of a three-putt on one of the largest greens in the world at 98 yards deep. There's only one option from the 14th tee, right of the birdies and left of the out of bounds, which runs down the right-hand side of the hole. If you're long enough, you can have a crack at the green over Hell Bunker and a cunning pot bunker named Pulpit. If you need to lay up, it's often best to go down the 5th hole. The prevailing wind out of the right and helping will mean approaching the green from the left will allow the golfer to stall the ball in the air against the wind. Approaching from the right with that helping wind and a green that throws the ball to the left could leave a really tough chip. The 418-yard-long 16th was the second toughest hole at the 2015 Open Championship. With the wind out of the right, there are a couple of options off the tee. The aggressive play is between the principal's nose bunker and the outer bound fence, where the golfer can ride the wind or cut a tee shot off of the principal's nose. Deacon Syme's bunker also comes into play a little further up if you choose to take that aggressive line. It's small, but it's penal. The safer option is left up the 3rd fairway, which leaves a second shot into that prevailing wind to a green with a steep rise at the front. Controlling that approach to get the ball landing on the flat of the top is absolutely vital. The road hole measures a beastly 495 yards, and it's one of the most iconic and challenging holes in world golf. With the prevailing wind out of the right, the line off the tee is often further right than you expect over the railway sheds. Either skirt the hotel and ride the wind to the 17th fairway, play it safe left down the 2nd fairway, or risk the rough between the two. With a front or right pin position, players can take any option off the tee, but more thought is required when the road bunker is in play with the pin position. Some players choose to miss short or long and left and try their luck getting up and down from there. Long of the green should be avoided at all costs. With a red shale path, the road itself and the boundary of the course symbolised by a wall. And once you get on the green, it's no picnic either. Any 4 here is hard earned. The final hole at the Old Course features one of the widest fairways and most famous views in golf. Players can choose to go for the green or lay up off the tee, far enough back to control spin with the approach. A front hole location requires care, as the player will not want to be too close to the green with a difficult pitch, chip or putt through the Valley of Sin. The green slopes from back right to front left and gives you a great chance to finish with a birdie.
It's the greatest walk in golf. I mean, it's just the best feeling.
The people were just unbelievable.
You had to walk your way through 50, 60 people deep. That was an incredible experience.
That is a very cool scene to be right in the middle of.
I mean, I had to keep my composure to play golf. They'd already awarded me the championship, but I still had to play.
It's like the old medieval days in The Gladiator, baby. I've just defeated the guy. I've killed all the lions and everything, and I'm gonna go eat now.
For me, it's the most special walk of all the championships I've played.
How many guys do you see walking down there and they all take their hats off to acknowledge the crowd? It doesn't really happen everywhere else. It happens there.
Let's show you how people are playing the early starters at St Andrews, how many people are under par. Have a little look at the best and work our way down. Webb Simpson, not a flawless front nine, but a great front nine to be out in 3 under par. So he's leading right now from Lucas Herbert, the Australian, who's a mighty player and is 2 under through 4. Cameron Tringali, 2 birdies in the first 3. Minwoo Lee had an early double and recovered to be out in under par. That's an excellent effort from the Australian. Barkley Brown's effort is good at 1 under. All these 1 unders will be fairly satisfied. What about Brandon Wu, American, 300 to 1 coming into this week?
Yeah, and well spotted by you, Rob. Did so well in the qualifying, didn't he? So obviously a little bit of a links player. And Webb Simpson, very much a links player, sort of very handsy, old-style golf course, golf swing. So yeah, he's maybe someone to keep an eye on.
A lot of people thinking Cameron Smith has a wonderful chance this week.
Oh, Cameron Smith's just an absolute flusher of a golf ball, and I don't think the Aussies do well around here, you know, especially the ones who have come from Melbourne or that part's of very firm terrain. You're used to the undulations, glassy greens, windy, so they've been, you know, highly feted, I think.
Lucas Herbert, by the way, did a wonderful thing, giving money back, a lot of money back to Golf Australia. He got backed on his way up, and the deal was, if you make it, you help us and pay us back, and he's done that. I mean, that's growing the game.
Yeah, and that's having your heart in the right place, isn't it? None of us are above the game of golf. There's a man who'll tell you that. One of the most fluid, admired swings in the game, the magnificent move that is the Ernie Els golf swing. Now on the seniors tour in the United States, but still as a former champion, well,
the Big Easy.
The Big Easy. The Big Easy came over with Darren Clark straight from Akron in Ohio.
Ernie Air they came over, didn't they?
It was a little Ernie Air, yep. So, has that changed at all?
It has changed over his career. It's definitely had an evolution to this point, but I think the fluidity that he's had is a natural thing, and can only be a help when you're getting into your 50s and you want to keep your career going. If you've got a move like this, it can only help that you can.
Just an elasticity, isn't it? Just
well, and it's less wear and tear on the body.
Yeah.
There's no rush to get back to the ball. Mind you, when you've got 2 arms that weigh half a ton each, it's quite easy to just smooth it into the back of the ball and send it 300.
He is a massive guy, isn't he? When you stand next to him, just a big bloke. Let's have a look. So always a little bit of weight shift off the ball. You're going to see him load that right side. Quite a fast wrist hinge. Tries to keep his arms kind of short, and all about getting that sequence. Rotate, don't lean. Don't slide. That's the bad shot. Arms go long, get stuck too deep behind him, gets a bit lateral, and he comes into the ball, and the club head is not in the right slot.
2.46 yards distance to the pin. It's quite handy. If he was playing the 11th.
That's absolutely right. 11th is going to be a tricky hole today. I think both the par 3s are difficult.
I think if you can get it inside 2.46 yards when you're playing
and again,
par 3s, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Be amazing.
2.06.
Yeah. There's a little tempting pin.
I mean, I might say it's a 6-footer.
I think
to be honest, I would.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rob. Yeah, so what we're doing is just taking Ernie's shots, superimposing them over on to the 11th hole. You can see the guys were hitting 4 irons into this yesterday, trying to hit little sliding 4 irons, not going long. You catch a bounce on a low flight, you keep trying to keep it low, and then you catch the wrong bounce and you're in all sorts of trouble. Great grip. All that weight shift. So kind of like high right hip going back, then the hips settle and high right hip coming through.
Dame Laura's just joined us in the box. Now, she's not been having the media breakfast here. She's been having an old course hotel breakfast. Let me tell you, they do not look the same.
You're thinking the Scottish breakfast. Do you think you're going black pudding and the haggis?
Without
Is that where you think she's gone?
The black and the white pudding and the haggis.
It's, you can just, what I love about it, you can just feel your heartbeat pulsing as the cholesterol zooms around your body.
You've got previous, obviously, Simon, with that statement.
I'm now on granola. Yep, I'm out of bulking season now, Rob. There we go, left arm on the chest. That's how he's always keeps his distance from the ball. That's his first little check. That's a great tip. Take your right hand off. Left arm, keep it connected to your side. Keep that nice soft grip on that left hand, and that helps you to keep that.
Look at the consistency of those last 3 shots. Incredible.
Yep, same pace, tons of
Look
speed.
at it. It's
still.
It's like one fat line.
Mirror images, aren't they? Just a little Bushnell there, which is helping him to just pick out a target, get a landing area. Old-fashioned way. Pick a pin. There's loads of pins on the driving range. So there we go. Left hand on. Left arm connected. That's it. Then the body position alignment. So just going through some fundamentals.
Is he still doing the, you know, the last thing he snaps is the Velcro on the glove before he gets into and hits the ball?
I'm not sure that was like
a mental thing.
It was, yeah, like tune in, make a decision. Now I'm playing golf, so stop thinking like, have I taken the dog out? I've got to call that bloke when I get back in. It's all about your shot. So it's just a little trigger. I think it came from a South African lady sports psychologist.
Yeah, there were a few that were into, and there was one with the red dot on the glove.
Oosthuizen had a bit of that.
He did that when he won the Open.
Yeah, he did. So it all works. Look at that. Tons of speed. Just hitting them down, keeping the ball flights low. Magnificent ball striker. Left hand on. Look at the routine. That's why guys get so good. They just do the same thing all the time. There. Then that left arm stays connected. Quite a fast wrist hinge, full fast wrist hinge, and then you can see.
I don't think he's an interlocker. He's reverse overlap. I don't think he's or the Varden grip. I don't think.
Yeah, no, he's a. Yeah, I think that's right. Varden's long fingers, hasn't he? You know, be Tiger, Nicholas, quite a lot of interlockers. Just flighting them down there.
I think for the older players that have come in here, St Andrews is a test that they must think in the back of their mind, if they really had their best stuff, even in their dotage, compared to the flat bellies, they got a chance.
I think that's right. Tom Watson was the poster boy for that, right? Yeah, it's links golf, so there's a golfing IQ, there's a golfing intelligence, and that comes with experience. And well, Ernie, he's taken his game all over the world. magnificent champion at Muirfield. So left arm on, watch that left shoulder loads under his chin. See that nice steep shoulder plane. I always think that's very important. Spine angle and shoulder plane. Keep the geometry of your swing, and then everything else is a flow of motion from your weight shift from your hips. Your hips kind of center you. Watch how he keeps so stable, so everything's the same. In his own little world, Ernie Els. So, left shoulder under, connected, and then look at that right side. High right shoulder all the way through, high right hip all the way through. No injury there, no reverse sort of C-shaped finishes.
Oh, he's reached in for the 3-wood, I do believe, yes. 3-wood's getting a go. A lot of players have put a 2-iron in the bag, and the 3rd wood is out.
Yes,
the long iron is in.
Yeah, we've seen two, I think, fundamental changes. So obviously, a driving iron of some description, and a hybrid perhaps out, or a 5-wood out, and then guys actually spending quite a bit of time with their manufacturer to just take a little bit of bounce out of the lobber and the 56, so the wedges not to have as much bounce.
You know, you mentioned driving iron. We went into Sounders to have some dinner, and they've got a set of Sevi's clubs in there, and there's a Sevi 1-iron in there, and the top edge is probably as thick as the top edge of a razor blade.
Yes,
it looks like there's no metal bolt to propel the ball at all. How anybody played with those clubs back in the day is beyond me, but if you have a look at that Sevi 1-iron, it's unusable.
Yeah, the old classic knife, was Lee Trevino once said. Not even God can hit a 1-iron. And he was probably right.
He's carrying 242 yards with his fairway wood. It's not warm out there as the heat gets up to, they're saying 21 degrees roughly, something like that today. Certainly doesn't feel like that now.
It does not. When we were walking in here, which was a little while ago, it was a sweater and a jacket, so it's a cold, damp air, I always think here. No, the ball just doesn't go on the winds here. It always takes a little bit off. It's always hard to judge it.
I saw Richard Boxall this morning, and the thing is, Richard can wear a T-shirt in really cold weather, but if Richard's got any sort of waterproof clothing on top, if you've got another layer on, you know it isn't warm.
That's exactly right. Yeah. No, he's very robust, isn't he, Richard Boxall?
Well, Ernie sorting his bag out. How's George faring out there? He's out there somewhere. George.
We've made our way from the first tee down to the practice area. So this is where the players all come from the open clubhouse and they walk through to the range here. Oh, Hideki Matsuyama. He's in the house. Excited to watch him, the Masters champion from a year ago. We've got all the players' clubs and everything. Here's Oscar. And they go right here, and then here's the big driving range grandstand, which will be packed mostly throughout the day. It's actually quite a good place to watch the golf. You get to see a lot of golf balls. You get to see all the shot shapes that the players are providing early. Fans queue up here. And then this is the range. So this is where Live on the Range has been broadcast from. That's where the team is. I'm sure you've seen plenty of that. We're getting a lot of messages coming through on the chat line saying we need more of George, less of the range and more of me. So we're going to try and get that back off them. You know, are they stealing all the limelight? We can't have that. We simply can't have that. So you're with me now, and I'm going to hold you for another good 5 minutes. So get comfortable. So we go from off the range down here to the chipping green. This is where things start getting serious. This is when the players are right in the zone. There's Willie Z, Will Zalatoris. He's getting ready. A lot of hype around him this week. It's absolutely humming here. A great spot to get up close and personal with your favourite players. Over the back, we've got the second hole. We just saw a big gallery moving past following Bob McIntyre, the favourite Scot. And then look at this for a putting green. Oh, look, there's Xander Schauffele, Scottish Open champion last week. Good morning, Xander. How are you? Hey, there he is. He's been avoiding me all week. But we'll get him. He will certainly be one to watch. He's so good in the major championships. So good. He's had a reasonably quiet year, but then all of a sudden in the last month he's taken off. And what do we got here? Who's arriving in this chopper? There we go. That's arriving in style. Maybe that's Tiger Woods. He'll be on later this afternoon. That's the way to do it. And who else have we got on the range? Colin Morikawa having a nice chin wag with Xander. Similar coloured outfits today. And similar putting drills as well, as you can see there. A lot of them are using the mirrors, getting the right angles. So much goes into these practice putting drills. And then as we come across further to the left, we've got Hideki. He's got all the gizmos and gadgets sorted. You can see a laser attached to his putter there. All about making sure he's starting on the right angles right from the get-go. And then right over the back of the putting range, I'm not sure you can see Bones and JT up the back there. Justin Thomas, PGA champion. He is a red-hot favourite here this week, and why wouldn't he be? He's been in great form. He's great to watch, and we talked to Bones earlier in the week. We walked a hole with him, and he talked us through the strategy on these big greens here at St Andrews, so it was great to get inside his brain. JT's actually running a new style of pants this week. I haven't seen him wear those the short pants. I'm not sure. Well, they're not called pants in the UK, are they? I've got to be careful. They're called trousers over here. Stylish little ankle high. Looking the part. Now he's got to play the part. What a good range of golfers we've got here. Justin Thomas, Hideki Matsuyama, Colin Morikawa, Will Zalatoris and Xander Schauffele. It doesn't get much bigger than that, but as I've mentioned earlier, there's just a different vibe in the air today. You know that you're going to have a scorecard in your hands, and every single putt, every single shot matters. It's round one of the Open Championship, and all the best players in the world are about to get on course.
Thanks very much, George. We are stood just in front of Rory McIlroy. Tees off at 9:58 with Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele. And first off, we've got to mention Rory's outfit. Do you like it? It's strong.
I mean, the jumper accents very well with the bottom of his shoes, which have the home of golf on. So I think it's a grower.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something I'd automatically reach for.
Strong, I like
in
it.
the wardrobe, but then I don't have Rory's frame either, do I? So he could pull off, I think, most outfits.
Yeah, looks great. What's he doing right now, Pete?
He's just going through his wedges.
Yeah.
He'll be kind of building up to his short irons, mid irons, long irons, then smashing a few drives. It's nothing complicated for him now. It's just, again, dialing in the numbers for the conditions and getting ready to go. I mean, he's a Rolls Royce, and he's just warming up the engine.
It certainly is. Wind's picking up a little bit.
It's freezing, isn't it?
It's really cold.
It's kind of starting to blow through us a bit now.
It feels about 3 degrees. It's really cold. But there is a little... It was flat calm about an hour and a half ago. But Rory, obviously, we know he's had Open Championship success back in 2014, a bunch of top tens in Open Championships. Burst onto the... I mean, we loved seeing him play back here in 2015, didn't we? Sorry, 2010. He's not played here. He's not played an Open Championship for 12 years here at the Old Course because he couldn't defend his title in 2015 due to the football injury.
The football foot injury, yeah. So he's going to be around to go. I mean, this course has been kind of good to him. I mean, there was that 60 and then next round 80, something along those lines.
63-80.
63
yes.
and then an 80. So he's got some form around here. I think these conditions are going to be more into his hands as well because the wind's not that strong.
Yeah.
You know, he can start to bomb it up in the air and start to overpower things.
He's had a really, really busy week. He also became an honorary member of the Royal and Ancient the other night with Tiger Woods and Paul Lawrie, which was an accolade he was absolutely delighted to receive.
That's all right, wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Crikey. Preferential members rates at the Royal and Ancient Club.
Mm.
Yeah. He's teeing off
really special occasion for him.
He's teeing off the members' tees today as well. They've got special ones put out for him.
Yeah, fantastic week for Rory. Played in the Celebration of Champions. There was the championship dinner as well. So it's been a really busy time. But at the moment, just the final few shots before his tee-off time at 9:58. Do you like the group with Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele? I mean, they'll have just throngs of people behind them watching, won't they?
It's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely massive. There's going to be I would say, a herd of spectators following them round. I mean, from form-wise, you'd probably put Rory and Xander as favourites there. Colin's not hitting the ball incredibly well, but you know we're talking about the reigning Open Championship, so I think he'll be okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on the bottom of those shoes, I think one of them's got home on, the other one's got golf on. That's a nice touch. I like that.
What kind of numbers will he be looking at?
On the quad, he's going to be looking at really just carry numbers, and that unit there's the GC quad. It's got an internal barometer on there, so he'll be able to get accurate data as far as flight without wind. So he's just onto his short irons here, so probably an 8 or a 7-iron. Just trying out a few draws, a few fades.
Tied 46 at the Open Championship last year, and tied second in Carnoustie 2018. It was a tied 4th position at Royal Birkdale 2017, tied 5th 2016, and obviously that victory in 2014. Didn't play here 2015. 12 years since he's played an Open at St Andrews. He said the other day, walking down the 18th, my goodness, this would mean so much to him if he lifted the Claret Jug on Sunday evening and became champion of the golfer here at the home of golf. It's extra special. Just to remind our viewers at home, it's a place that is hard to describe, the history, the legacy that's part of this hallowed turf.
Everybody wants to be a part of this, and you get remembered, you know, forever being Open champion. The 150th Open champion, that's got one hell of a nice ring to it, hasn't it? So that's what all these golfers are going to be absolutely desperate to be able to say, to be able to claim.
Yeah.
And when you're watching Rory hit here, I mean, you can see how high he's sending that 8-iron, and it's not moving in the wind. Now, obviously, you know, he's a flusher, he absolutely strikes it.
Yeah.
But that wind is just not touching the ball at all. They're not very flappy flags out there, are they?
No,
they're pretty still.
Not at all. We're admiring at the back of the range here as we watch Rory, who is due to tee off at 9:58. But for now, let's get back to our commentary, guys.
Thanks, Di. Well, as Peter was talking about his outfit there, beige trousers and yellow top, he looks very smart, I think, alongside me. Laura Davis. Well, Laura, it's finally here, Thursday, we're underway. It's taken its time.
It really has, hasn't it? That's the thing about this week. The build-up is so massive, and then you just want this point. You want that 6:35, don't you, on a Thursday morning, and get on and enjoy all the hard work these boys have put in and see them put it into practice, basically.
Yeah, I mean, you know, towards the end of yesterday, it's really, you know, you saw a few players out on the course. It's really just ticking over time, isn't it, really? You know, do you want to go back and sit in your house or sit in your hotel room? Not really.
No, you'll just start thinking about the shots ahead. You don't really need to. You'd rather be out there feeling the shots. I spoke to Adam Scott on the range yesterday, and he was just saying it's this week, because the course is so hard and bouncy, it's different to what he's played before. I mean, St Andrews is always bouncy a little bit, but this is to an extreme. And, you know, he just wanted to be out there hitting little shots and picking out areas in front of greens, and then go to the range and try and hit those shots, because they know what's coming. Everyone's talking about 59s and low scoring. I can't see it.
No, I think you're right, because it is like playing down the M25, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
You know, and you do a lot of stopping on the M25, but you won't do a lot of stopping here at St Andrews. But it's I was also chatting, Laura, it's very difficult. I always found the amount of times I've played this course, you never really stiff a shot, do you? You never knock it to 6 inches. You know, that's a real rarity around here.
Yeah, it's the greens, isn't it? That you can stand on these greens and they look for the most part flattish, but there's all these little nuances, and you might hit what you think's a perfect shot, and you just hit on a foot too far or a foot too short, stops it, kicks it on. And that's why the older players that have played here a lot have got a slight advantage, because the rookies, the debut, I'm sure most players have now played this course at least a dozen times, if obviously. But you can't pick it all up. You need to be under pressure. You need to be out on the course in tournament conditions to really pick up how to play this golf course.
Most definitely. I mean, you know, once that ball leaves the club head, so in any golf really, but especially around the links, you've got no control over what happens. You know, if it kicks right, you know you can't aim to miss that spot. It's totally impossible. You know, you're just trying to run it in from left to right or right to left. And I think you have to accept that you are going to get bad bounces here and there.
Yeah, that's what makes it such a mental test as well as a physical test, an actual skill test, is can you cope with that good shot that got such a bad bounce? You might make a double, you might go in the face of a bunker, have to come out backwards. Yeah. Can you get over that quick enough? That's a big challenge for these guys. Yeah,
I was out there this morning. I watched Bartley Brown, the amateur, who was in the bunker on the right of the fifth, and he just literally rolled in and had to come out sideways. He just couldn't go forward.
I mean, it's fun for us. It's not fun if you're playing, though, is it? You just don't. You feel like, oh, I've been done again.
Oh, it's just. I mean, it's a shot gone, isn't it? It's as simple as that. And we've got these stats on the right-hand side. The club he's hitting at the moment, he's probably into a little bit of breeze off the left-hand side. I would imagine that's about a 6-iron. I would thought maybe a 7. But you look at the screen, you've got the flat carry there of 184. Into a bit of breeze off the left. I think it's an easy 6, or would it be a 7?
Well, as far as these guys hit it now, it could easily, it could. Well, it could be. That's the crazy thing about how good these. I stood behind Rory for a while yesterday on the range, and it's effortless power, effortless.
I mean, you're a great player yourself, but if I could have just had his swing for a year, imagine where I'd be living.
You'd be in the Bahamas, mate.
I
you
would be,
sat
wouldn't
next
I?
to me in a box.
Saying, could somebody turn the Open on? I'd like to watch it now.
Yes. Get someone to turn it on.
Yes, if you could. So it depends. Everyone has a different routine as to what they do going through their bag. You know, I used to go on there, I'd warm up with sand irons, then I'd go to a 6-iron, then I'd go to a 3-iron, then I'd go to a drive, and then I'd go back to a sand iron, and then I'd go to the putting green, and then I'd go and shoot 82. But I mean, I don't know. How did you do it? What did you do, Laura?
Well, it was actually very similar to you. I would start with a 9-iron, but I would hit little flop shots with a 9-iron just to get the hands, the wrists going, everything.
Open club face shots.
Club face,
like would you?
Little cutter. If there was a green about, I don't know, 60 yards away, I'd try and hit little lob shots just to get things going, and then I'd be into the 8-iron full shots. Yeah. And as you did, 4-iron, 3-wood driver, back down to the wedges. And the last club I would use would be the club I thought I was going to either hit into the green at the first, if it was obviously driving, and if it was like a 2-iron off the tee, which it would be here at St Andrews, I'd always finish with a couple of nice 2-irons, trying to replicate what I was going to do first.
Right, well that's a good point. I never really thought about doing it like that. It's probably because I didn't know where the hell I was going to hit it on the first. But no, I went for most of the tee shots, 90% of them are sort of drivers, aren't they, off the first tee?
Yeah.
Anywhere around the world, really. But this turf to hit off, Laura, is awesome, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's fantastic. But if the wind keeps up, I know it's died down a bit. It was getting to the point where you almost had to be careful not to let your club slide onto the back of the ball. I played those couple of holes the other day in that shootout, the champion shootout thing. And it was almost like a glass texture, and you had to be careful. So I hovered
when you put the club behind,
the club behind the ball. I mean, the actual striking off it's just magnificent. There's no better feeling. No,
I agree with you. Do you know I had that in 1984 in the Open Championship here? I remember specifically on the 9th green, I had a couple of practice putts, and I went to put the putter behind it, and I slipped.
Yeah.
I mean, they get so shiny.
Yeah.
I thought, better be careful here.
Yeah, we might see that this week, especially with people lean on a putter. And that's the defence of St Andrews this week, is how firm they can make it. Really test these guys.
So, crowds there in that huge stand. I say huge stand, it's not huge, but it's fairly large. And I always say to amateurs, if they always go, where shall I go? Shall I go to the 10th because I can do the 7th and the 8th and the 11th tee? I say no, take a trip to the range, because you'll see plenty of players and you'll see all kinds of shots.
Yeah, without a doubt. You can learn a lot about the game. And that grandstand behind there, the people that got in there early this morning got to the right edge of it, think, please, Rory, come up my end.
Yeah.
Because if he's down the other end, they'll have to get the binoculars out. It's quite a big range, but they've hit the jackpot. The guys and the girls up the other end, not so much, but they had Ernie Els earlier. So you get some good ones and some bad ones to follow.
They'll all be on the phone. They're going, hey, hello, dear. You'll never guess who's right in front of me. Yeah. He's 15 feet in front of me. Rory McIlroy.
You just hope your boss isn't watching if you're having a bit of a sickie. That's the one
right.
bad thing.
Yes, I thought he was supposed to be in the office today. What's going on? You're quite right, yeah. So Rory working his way up through the bag. Let's have a look at that slab there on the right of your screen there. You've got a ball speed of 140. Normally, if you get club head speed, you've got the ball speed would be literally half of that again. So if it was 120 mile an hour club head speed, you'd have about 180-ish ball speed off it. That's how they work that out.
Yeah,
all these machines, that's how they work it out.
Well, they've all got all these track men and all these other the fancy new one that Rory's got there, and they know every single shot. It's good. It's instant feedback. Whereas in my day, the feedback was through your hands. You knew if you'd struck it.
Imagine how good you would have been, Lord.
I don't think I could cope with all this technology.
No, I don't either. The other interesting thing is you actually get onto the range and they actually ask you, which wasn't the same in the 80s, they ask you which ball do you want to use, which make of ball.
Well, I couldn't believe that the other day when I walked on the range and there were the buckets and the guy asked me the question. I thought he was joking, and sure enough, there were the Callaways, there was Titleist, there was all the top manufacturers.
Okay, now we're going to go down to Di, who's on the range. She's got a special guest with her.
With Andrew Coulter on the range. Andrew, first time this week. Great to see you.
Yeah. Don't think I've not been. Well, I've been here since Monday.
You've been skiving.
No, I've definitely not been skiving. A lot of research.
Okay.
Loads of research. But it's great to finally get out the hutch.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, you get some daylight, which is brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome down here. We've been bringing our viewers up to date with everything that's been going on the range. Inside analysis, TopTracer. George is out on the course, but here behind us, we've got the defending champion, Colin Morikawa, who won the Open Championship on his debut at Royal St George's. We were there. It was such a fantastic performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, because he really hasn't had an awful lot of experience on this type of terrain, and that's ridiculously unusual for somebody to come away with the victory. Obviously he'd won the 2020 PGA Championship at Harding Park. But to go out here, but I think it's all got to do with his coach here as well in the background. I was talking to Simon Holmes yesterday and live at the range, and Coach Sessignon does a tremendous amount of work with him, sort of on course, playing off of like different lies, different stances, which I think contributed to his ability to go out there, hit a variety of shots, and contend and finally win the Open. So it was a superb performance.
It was. I mean, we were waxing lyrical at Royal St George's about his iron play and how sublime it was down there in Kent last year. And what's he doing right now? What's he up to?
Well, one of the things I noticed, you're probably talking about this earlier on, is everybody's a lot less jocular.
Yes.
Now that the official gun has gone off, it's now the door is shut in the office. There's a lot less chat, a lot less laugh. It's down to business, and he's just going through his normal golfing warm-up routine, starting off with the sort of wedges, sand wedges. He'll work his way up into the shorter irons and the middle irons,
yes,
and then further up into the drivers and things, and then might actually work his way back down to some wedges again. But it's just all about really bit of rhythm, just trying to find a nice rhythm, couple of nice strikes, and just also get yourself mentally ready for the task ahead.
Yes, because it's about. We spoke yesterday about calming the emotions down, because it's a drainer, isn't it, a major championship, and it can play on your emotions in so many different ways, especially this golf course if the wind picks up later on, you don't know, occasionally the ball's not going to do what you want it to do, so also not beating yourself up.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. How's his form at the moment?
Yeah, it's poor by his very, very high standards.
Yeah.
You know, he sets high goals for himself, and done all right in the majors. He was 5th in the Masters. I think he was 5th again. I think in the US Open,
yes.
US Open, the USPG. I think it was US Open. It was US Open.
Yeah.
And so that's really good. You know, he is major material. Obviously, already has 2 of them. But some of the more regular sort of PGA Tour events, you would have expected him to contend a bit more slightly. So. In those situations, the iron play and stuff like that probably hasn't been as sublime as he would like it.
Yeah. How life-changing is it winning an Open Championship?
I wish I knew. It's got
from
to be.
What you've heard.
From what I've heard, from what Rich Beam has told me,
winning a major.
It's just yes, winning a major. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Because you go from, particularly this young kid, because it wasn't that long ago he was at college.
It's incredible.
He comes out of college and now he's at the very, very top of the game, and it's everybody wants a piece of you.
Yeah.
And to me, that would be very, very difficult to try and deal with. I want to be left alone to go and do my job, play my game, sort of head down, under the radar. But no, that's not how it works anymore. Everybody wants a piece of it, for your sponsors, for everything, for the events. And dealing with that and managing that into your normal sort of daily routine as well.
Yeah.
Must be very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's exactly what Matt Fitzpatrick has said, having won the US Open this year. He said he didn't quite get what the media attention would be after winning a major, but he's coped very well with it. And Matt's another one who's top tip this week. But Colin, he's got how long to go? What time is it now? I'm looking at
this is about 20 past 9.
20 past 9, 9:58 he tees off. He's with Xander Schauffele and Rory McIlroy, so an incredible group that a lot of people will follow.
Oh, great,
it's good, isn't it?
That's going to take a large crowd out there.
Yeah, it's star-studded. How do you feel that dynamic will work? We were talking earlier on with Tommy Fleetwood. He's just playing with Francesco. Oh, he's playing with Francesco Molinari and Hoshino, who was the first reserve because Justin Rose has pulled out.
That's
but
right.
He said it's super helpful when you're playing with guys that you know.
Do you know, it is, and I was just thinking it's nice and relaxed and it's great. You're out there with a mate, as is these 3 that you're talking about. You know, Morikawa, Schauffele, and Rory. Sometimes though, you can almost be too relaxed though, in a way, if that makes sense, when you're playing with friends, and you're sometimes more out there having a bit of a joke rather than actually getting down to business. I mean, this is the Open and everybody wants to win it, so I'd imagine they'd sort of shut that little personal door and get on with business. But sometimes in situations like that, you can just switch off.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be using the driver a lot today? Marco Penge said he's going to get the driver out for every hole yesterday.
Yeah, well, good luck, Marco. That's interesting. It's a tactic. I do see it. I don't know whether necessarily it's going to be a good tactic. The interesting thing is with Colin left to right ball shaper.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons he's been struggling with his irons, because he was actually turning it over right to left, and he's trying to work out that. So he never felt comfortable. If he hits it left to right on the breeze, he's going to find himself down the right side a lot. Now that's fine as long as he's missed the trouble, because it opens up a lot of tight pin positions that are on the left-hand side of a lot of the greens going out. So he won't need driver. He won't need driver.
Yeah.
And as good as he is with his iron play, coming in from the right positions, certainly on the way out, you could see him going fairly deep, fairly early.
We were quite surprised with Marco announcing that he was going to use the driver on every hole, but we'll be checking his score out later. But a fantastic story that he qualified a couple of weeks ago. So many different storylines as players come into this Open Championship, which is open to anybody. But just a fantastic bird's eye view of Colin Morikawa's swing right now. What's the shape of this shot that he's just hit?
Yeah, well, he's just playing the wind. He's just naturally just trying to hit a lovely little sort of baby fade.
It was a baby one, wasn't it?
That he's got there. Just again, just sort of working up the rhythm.
Tell us a little bit about the gentleman stood behind him.
Yeah, well, that's his coach.
Yep.
I forget his first name. Sessinghausen is his second name, and they've been working together all the way through college. They've got a great relationship.
Yeah.
Because they've been working together for many years. And I think that's a terrific attribute. What happens? A lot of guys come out on tour and then they change coaches, and it's a completely different dynamic. These guys know one another. He knows how Morikawa thinks, he knows how he feels, he knows how he approaches things, how he likes to approach things. It's not enough just to give instructions. You have to really be under the skin and feel what it's like to be that player, and that's the type of relationship that these two have.
Which is, we've been speaking about the caddy-player relationship on course, and some of the guys here making their way to the tee. It's you can really feel the energy right now, can't you, as players go to the first tee?
Yeah, definitely. There's that height of anticipation. The funny thing is, we're watching these guys hit, and when you're professional, it actually doesn't matter how you hit it on here, because
right,
so many times, if you speak to all of them, they'll all have days where they absolutely flush it in the range, and then they go out in the golf course and they don't hit it well. Yeah. And then there's other days where they hit it terrible in the range, and they think, oh my God, I'm not going to play well, and they go out in the golf course and they flush it.
Yes.
The expectation level drops and they relax.
Yeah.
So this is just a warm up. It's just
a warm up.
It's getting the the night lying in the bed out your body, and it's just trying to find a nice rhythm and just passing time before you're allowed to step on that first tee and pull the trigger with your opening tee shot.
Yeah, just going through a few mental routines, I suppose. Paul Lawrie, he hit 30 or 40 balls before he teed off today. Not many, doesn't do much practice. As Justin Thomas just walks past us, I quite like his outfit, actually.
I
quite like it.
I think let's go around.
Can we walk down here? Can we walk down?
Let's go, Justin Thomas. That's really interesting.
I'm a fan. He's got so his trousers. If we can get JT interview,
it looks like he's put a set of bicycle clips in the bottom of them. My gran used to wear a pair of trousers like that.
They're very tight at the bottom. I like his. I love the outfit, and he's got the hoodie as well. What do you think of hoodies when you're playing golf?
That's compulsory. That's a camouflaged hoodie. That's so that nobody sees him when he's out on the golf course, and he can go about his business sort of under the radar.
And the shoes as well are very smart.
The shoes they're an old style shoes. We used to play those in the sort of 80s and 90s, an old style with the sort of shiny tips. But yes,
major champion this year.
Of course, that was a terrific performance. Came back from 7 back in the last round, actually 8 back with 10 holes to play.
Incredible. We know what he can do. I mean, the calibre of this player is, he's proven himself over the past few years. How do you feel he'll do this week?
I think he's got a great chance. Okay. He's one of the very, very minute elite that we have out on here. He's got every shot, every shape in the bag that needs to be played.
Yeah.
Low draws, high fades, controls the spin. Takes the spin off it, increases the spin, shapes it into the wind, lets it go in the wind. He is everything. We saw him lead, I think, through 36 holes at the Players this year when we had tornado-like conditions over there in North Florida. And he loves that. He's stimulated by that type of a challenge. This type of golf just inspires him. It's the mundane sort of week in, week out of just throwing a dart into the place. That's great, but it's nothing like this. He's if it's possible, he's like a young sort of traditionalist, and he just absolutely loves this type of golf.
Yeah, he's got a thinking brain, isn't he? A creative brain, which is what you need around this links. Yeah. It's so much hard work to be done over the next few days. It's mentally draining. It takes every ounce of energy to get around this links in a low score. What would be a good score today, and what's the weather expected to do?
Yeah, look, the weather's pretty calm just now. I would suggest that probably sort of level par for some of these players.
Okay.
They're probably about two under, 1 under, so you'd expect some good guys, maybe a 65, 64, something like that today. But I think, looking at some of the terrific and incredible pin positions that they are and they have put out there, I think some players will get a surprise.
Give us a flavour of a couple of them.
Well, three's an interesting one. About 2 yards behind 3, the ball falls away off the right-hand side. The pin at 2, it might be 25 yards in from the right-hand side, but it's only 4 yards right of a slope. If the caddy hasn't gone out there and done the business and told them exactly where these pins are relative to the slope and not the sides of the greens, then the player's not going to have a very good day.
It won't be a good player-caddy relationship.
No, it won't be. It'll get quite heated fairly early on. So we've got some terrific pins out there.
Yeah, that's speaking to a few of the caddies that were saying that there'll be a lot of chat on the golf course today, a lot of figuring out exactly a few mathematical equations going on.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, this is part of the skill is, you don't flush it every single day. You don't all hit great shots. So part of the skill is realising what level you're at to attack which pins.
Yeah.
If you're swinging well, fine. Some of these difficult pins you can have a go at, but a lot of them you've just got to make sure you don't bring bogey or double bogey into the equation, and that's another factor that you've got to think about. Bounce
back ability is needed as well when you do have those bogeys and double bogeys. But you've got to craft your way around. Let's have a look. Who else is on the range? But I have to just say, I'm a massive high five to JT's outfit. I'm really liking those trousers. I know you're not a massive fan, but I do, and I love the shoes.
God, you're making
Go,
me
JT.
feel really
Go.
old.
You are
You're
really
making me
old.
feel really
you are.
old.
No, it's each their own. There is so many different styles of outfits and golf swings and golf grips, and we are super excited about day one of the Open Championship. OK, let's get back to our commentary team for now. We'll stay down here on the range.
Nice to hear from Di and her special guest, Andrew Coulter.
Wasn't that special, was it?
No.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, he wasn't. I didn't know who I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Andrew anyway. There you go. Morikawa just looking out the left side of his eye there. It's out with the driver. Carried that 250. Maybe necked that one a little bit. Talking about necking it, you necked it off the first, didn't you, in that Champions Challenge?
I actually hit quite a good one
Oh,
there.
did you?
It was up 18.
see.
I hit a low, necky, horrible one. But the first one, I was so nervous. It was incredible. And it's 72 acres, isn't it, that
Yeah.
first and 18th fairway? And I was so terrified of not
Going
hitting the
out of bounds.
fairway. But, yeah, I did actually hit a decent one.
I
but, yeah,
saw you swing it off the first. But I always say with that first hole, it's actually so wide, it's narrow.
yeah. It's no. I aimed at that little bush just on the left half of the burn way in the distance,
Yeah.
and that's kind of just left of centre. And I'm thinking, if I do come off it and slice it, I've got a bit
You've
extra.
got a bit of room. You know, I used to aim at, there was 4 flags that was on the Old Course Hotel, and I used to aim, I think, on the left-hand flag, which is pretty much near where that bush is that you were talking about there. Colin Morikawa, not in brilliant form right now. I don't know what he's looking at over on his left side there, but he keeps looking over. How far has he flown that one?
Well, I'll tell you what he is looking at. He's looking at the big monitor. There's a huge monitor just beyond the sky zone, and it's showing him every shot he's hit.
Correct.
So that's what he's having a
looking at.
cheeky glance at, rather than have to get his own TopTracer thing he's got.
So sending a few more drivers. Now let's have a look at this. This is new for you, Laura, because you're going to do some more of these. But this is a look at the first hole, and if Morikawa was at that shot, he's actually hit on the range there. If that's where it would have finished, if he'd been on the first hole, he obviously doesn't know.
No.
That he's being put on this right now. But it's interesting to see. You got a view here from the tee. That's what the players see from the tee.
Yeah.
And you got that first hole. I think it's played. Well, it's 356 yards, 3 yards downhill. I'm not sure about that. Might be. Maybe it is slightly downhill.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but it's not.
Doesn't
It's
seem
not
it,
a
does
visual
it?
thing. But you
No.
can imagine it just gently rolls down towards the burn.
Anyway, there he is, top left in your screen there. Back it goes, off it goes. Slight delay. Then it comes. Pulled it a little left, that one.
Well, this will be perfect for the first. He needs to be careful. He didn't nail it. Oh, he's going to be absolute. The thing is, though, with that front pin, number one, the caddy would be in trouble for getting that close to the burn. Number two, you need a full shot to this first pin if you want to make a birdie.
No question. Yeah, what is it? They've got it on as 6 paces on, 10 from the left. I mean, it doesn't matter whether 10 from the left. It's the 6 paces on that's the problem.
Yeah, you've got the burn there. They'll obviously be hitting irons, but it's really quite interesting, this, isn't it? I do like this. That's some great technology.
I mean, listen, Laura, you've played this hole enough. If you go far enough down there, yes, you can see the burn, but if you're a little bit back, it just looks like it's flat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Onto the green.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't see it. It's just that line there of the burn. It disappears if you're another 30 yards back. And in your head, you're going, actually, where actually is that burn? Very tricky. Out with another driver.
If he cuts it at all, he's in the burn on the right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure with this particular wind that he's on the range, he could actually reach the burn today. But not one player in this field is going to hit driver off first. But
No.
I do love. Yeah, I like this. Is a nice one. This is perfect.
Where is it?
There she is.
There it goes. I mean, as the fairways are right now, that probably would run out and go into the burn.
Very true. Hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
I mean, you can actually throw a ball into the fairway. You can throw on a flat bit that faces you. You can throw it and it will bounce back at you. It's incredible.
It is. The R&A have got it set up right on the edge.
Yeah.
It's perfect. They're so close to the edge, but they know exactly what they're doing. They know how much water to put on these. All the agronomists are so clever now with all this stuff. It really is. They're setting up as hard a test as they possibly can, considering we're not going to have that much wind.
Yeah. Can you remember the first time you played this course? You probably can.
It would have been the British Open, the one that Lorena Ochoa won, I think 2000 and I'm guessing 2009 maybe, possibly, not 100% sure.
And can you remember your first practice round? I mean, I remember my first practice round was back in about 1980, and you know, no disrespect to the course whatsoever, because I think it's a gem now. But I looked at it first time and I thought, what's all this about?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You walk there but I actually made a huge error on that because I was so excited to be here. I had my normal shoes on, flat shoes. Right. One of the players was on there having a practice round. I couldn't resist it. I got their driver and a ball. The shaft wasn't right. I hit it out of bounds left.
Oh, you did, did you?
Yeah, so that was probably the worst thing I could ever have done. Didn't show the course full respect, but ever since that's been a tricky tee shot for me.
Yes, that probably wasn't the best thing to
No.
do. But anyway, there you go. Right, it's time for us now to get out to George, who's out and about on the course.
Now, one place that is clearly a favourite here at the Open is the shop. It is absolutely humming here because you've got to get in thick and fast before everything goes. Such a popular spot. The queue here is going to be roughly 15 to 20 minutes. Everyone obviously thinks it's well worth it, and it is. We've been there earlier on the week. Some great merch. But to be honest, I think there's too much golf to be seen. I can't handle this 15, 20-minute wait. So we might sneak around the back. Come through, guys. Come through. Get on in here. Get your merch. Get Christmas sorted. Everything, all the one-stop shop. So if you come with me now, look at this. Look at the size of this queue. It just doesn't stop. The fans just love it. You can see it all over the course, all the new 150th merch. It looks fantastic. The new logo. It's great. So they come in here. You just got to, you know, the security's really tight. So I can't even, oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Tight like that.
Tight. Oh, okay, not allowed in here. Fair enough. A great little entryway. All right, we made it. Come on in. We've snuck in, and as you can see, it is chock-a-block. It's absolutely packed in here, wall to wall. And why wouldn't it be? There's so much great stuff on offer here. So many gifts for friends and family. And obviously, if you're at the Open, you've got to be well and truly covered head to toe to show your support for the event. You can get stuff embroidered. You can get everything you need. That is 150 printed, celebrated. And one thing I've noticed over the years of coming to this great championship is the size of this place. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. So there's more of everything. We see the players even coming in here. They love it. They get excited every time. They normally block out an hour late at night for players only. So naturally, I don't think they'd survive in here. But it's amazing to see the amount of people queuing up and wanting to come here. And one of my favourite personal touches actually is one of these little signs. The next please, next please. I love that. Instead of the quiet please. So everything's golf, golf, golf and golf here in the Open shop. So if you want to come down and get your goodies, I'd do it soon because it could be all gone.
Plenty of stuff to pick up in that merchandise shop. Had a trip round there yet or not?
I haven't, but having seen that feature there with George, I might have to have a little trip because I do love this logo, the 150 logo. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, isn't it?
It's, yes, I doubt I'll see it again.
No,
not the 300.
The 300 Club.
No, I'll be well away by then. So that's fashion, apparently.
I'm worried about his ankles getting cold, though.
Well, they might get a little chilly out there. It's quite cold. When we came in this morning, it was, you know, where you're staying. Well, you're at the Old Course Hotel, so you're all right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Jack,
not bad.
you're okay.
Not bad.
But where we were, we were in Coulter, and it was actually, when you get out in the morning, you think, oh, it's quite warm here, and just have a little sleeveless waterproof jacket and don't put it on, and then you get here and there's quite a chill off that sea.
Yeah, I walked down to compound, which is all the way down, sort of between 5 and 6 the hole, so it's quite a walk, and it was very chilly, but beautiful as well.
Now that's a fantastic swing, Justin Thomas. You know, it's such fractions about hitting it left and hitting it right and too high and too low. To me, every swing looks just the same. You think, well, how did that go left?
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? It's just the hands slightly roll, or you just get a little bit stuck. You're not quite committed to the shot, and you come in the club face a bit open. It is literally fractions, and it's that's what makes it such a hard game. And that ball never moves until you make it move. And I think that side of it is probably the hardest part of golf.
Do you know something that was explained to me the other day? You'd have Justin Thomas as the average sort of height for a man, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you got the driver out, the club head moves right in feet, believe it or not, from the ball right the way up to horizontal at the top. If you go to horizontal and then back down to hit the ball, how far in feet do you reckon the club head travels?
It's got to be, I'm going to say about 18 feet.
What, from
the time you take it away, the time you make contact, I'd say it's 9 foot back and 9 foot through.
18 feet that way and 18 feet, 36
double.
feet.
Well, there you go.
Now, if somebody said to you, that goes 36 feet from there to there, back to the ball, and you've got to hit it square, you go, I think I'll play football. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
It's a long way for the club head to travel and get it back square. So many things can go wrong. That's why you always say, well, I always say at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do really on the way back and all that. As long as it's square at impact and what you want, you've cracked it.
Well, that's the thing about this game. You think of all the great swings over the years. You've got the classic Ernie Els. You've got the Lee Trevino, the big the carve he used to hit. And the one thing they all had in common, they knew where the club head was when it was making contact with the ball.
Exactly. Remember Eamon Darcy, how he used to swing it as well?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, fantastic.
Jim Furyk, there's another one.
There's like an octopus falling out of a tree, wasn't it?
Yeah, and exactly. And the guys won what, 2 US Opens?
Yeah. Yeah, most of the players do little tweaks. There's only one player I really know who completely rechanged his swing, and it was a success. Was Nick Faldo.
Yeah. It's normally you're given basically you can tweak it like you said, but you got one swing. You should go with it your whole career. And those that do try and change it usually come unstuck. But as you say, Nick Faldo. So Nick, he got it done, didn't he?
Yeah, you didn't. What was your thought behind everything? You did tweaks and little.
Just feel, just pure feel. So it would always be rhythm, I suppose. Takeaway, smooth rhythm. That was it for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As long as it feels good. Okay, the sun is out, so is Di. Stuart, let's get down to it.
Thanks very much, Richard. We have Xander Schauffele behind us and his dad, Stefan, who's dressed all in black. In fact, everyone's dressed all in black. You are as well. But Xander Schauffele, his dad will be leaving the range very soon because their tea time isn't far off. And Shane's just walking past us. But yeah, obviously, Schauffele in fantastic form. Scottish Open, won on the PGA Tour, won the JP McManus event. I mean, my goodness, how many superlatives are there for the guy?
Yeah, phenomenal. It had gone a little bit quiet for a wee while. Won the Zurich with Patrick Cantley. That kind of again whetted the appetite, reinvigorated him, and he started to turn things around at the Byron Nelson. Was on his way to missing the cut early on in the second round, and then reeled off a ton of birdies, and has pretty much kept it going ever since. As you said, he won the Travellers, shot a course record at JP McManus 64, won that, and then the terrific performance last week in the Scottish Open, which at one point looked like he was about to throw it away, but the fact that he got himself back together again and grounded out on that back nine was indicative of actually a strength of character that had potentially up to that point been questionable.
Yeah, okay. A few fist pumps and a little hug from his dad, his dad's called Stefan, and is a talented athlete himself, a decathlete.
That's right, yeah.
Who was going to compete, I believe, in the Olympic Games. Should we going to go over and try and get a word with him? I don't want to interrupt while he's just having a final few words with his son. But this is a great group. We just remind our viewers with Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa at 9:58. Xander Schauffele off the first tee. It's a very special occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's it's one of the star groups. It'll have a massive following.
Stefan,
and just a great opportunity for everybody to watch some of the best players.
Good to see you. We're just saying it's
best players. I'm not a player, guys.
No, you are a decathlete. You were a decathlete.
It's a long time ago, as you can see.
How many years ago? Oh, you look great. You look fantastic.
Thank you. You're so kind.
we saw Andrew's just showing me the picture on Twitter of you with the Xander's gold medal when he won the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a special time for you. How are you feeling right now? You've just spoken to him. How's he feeling?
we feel great. We're ready.
Yeah.
We're as ready as we're going to get. You know,
Yeah.
there's lots of different shots to be played here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice gone well?
Yeah, practice is going well. I don't know how you got from my picture to playing here, but
Oh,
yes.
no, I was just trying to sort of highlight the fact that you're an athlete yourself and you were hoping to compete at the highest level, and then you're getting the gold medal from your son was very special.
That was very special.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a dream come true. You know.
Wirklich wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Yeah.
This was wunderbar, yes.
And you must be so impressed with your son over the last few weeks and what he's done in the game of golf.
You know, he was trending. You know, just when you saw Matthew Fitzpatrick, when he won the US Open, we all knew he's about to win one, and he just won the big one. And there's a bunch of guys out there, if you follow stats, you can kind of predict that something's going to happen. You know, maybe not exactly a win, but in Sander's case, just like Fitzpatrick's case, the stats have been pointing to some good play. And, you know, now we're 3 in a row. I guess 2 or 3 in a row, depending on how you look at it.
We'll go 3.
What you call so 3 is a hat trick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a hat trick.
3 is a hat trick, but what's 4?
Yeah, well, 4 absolutely.
No, I mean we can't say quadruple because that's kind of lame. Right?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the term for 4?
Well, three in a row
needs to be told.
and champion golfer of the year.
Quad trick.
There we go.
How about
Quad
that?
trick. Champion golfer of the year sounds great.
That sounds okay.
That sounds great.
What's the best bit of advice you've ever given your son?
Be patient. I mean that's a tough one. Huh? Be patient. Patience.
Which is what you need around this golf
here.
course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Super special to be here in St Andrews. What's it like? Because I know you came over with him when you were playing at Carnoustie years ago.
No, we just went to the shop and bought some sweaters.
Oh right.
We never got on the golf course.
Oh right.
This
Fine.
is the first time he walked on here this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Great.
never.
And what did he think?
You know, it's the shots that you have to play.
Yeah,
it's a very different kind of golf. It's a very nondescript. You stand, and all the holes look sort of similar of the tee because you're hitting it somewhere into a meadow.
Yeah.
But so then it needs to have a lot of focus. Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And focus is going to be like patience, like you said, patience and focus. That's what it is. Yeah.
Listen.
And making shots. Yeah.
Well, we're so grateful for your time. I know the tee time is 9:58, so we don't want you to be late. But viel Spaß. Have a lot of fun today.
Dankeschön.
Yeah, danke.
Thank you so much for your time, Stefan. Thank you.
Yeah, really
Cheers.
great to chat
Have
to
a great
you.
week.
Thanks, Stefan. Thank you. Really great to chat to Stefan there. What a lovely guy. Very calm demeanour. Really calm energy. Did you feel that?
I did, yeah. You know, somebody that's incredibly proud, obviously, of his son, and incredibly relaxed. And you probably get the feeling that laid backness that Stefan was exhibiting there, obviously something that rubs off on Xander. So
totally. I'm feeling very chilled.
Certainly well prepared to take on the task that's in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, we'll continue down the range, but for now, let's get back to... Oh, you want to have a quick word?
Well, no, just Will Zalatoris, she's just runner-up in the last couple of majors
Got to mention
they've had, and just what a player, what a young talent this kid is.
Andrew,
should have won a major.
Yeah,
yes,
Richard.
Andrew.
Yes,
I
Richard.
noticed there that Dye was absolutely magnificent with the German. And
yes.
then you went to, yes, it was very good that. And then you went to say something, Andrew, and you just went, yeah, that'll be great. Thank you, well done, fantastic. Now, I'm a little disappointed. You not take German at school?
That's
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Richard, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Ja.
Sehr gut.
I know where you learned your German, Richard.
Yes, do you?
Do you know, it's one of Stefan. I mean, his English was amazing. What do you say?
Nothing.
Where did he learn his German? Can we get back to Will
He's a
Zalatoris,
naughty
please?
little bunny, that Andrew, you know.
Very naughty. Well, I'll tell. I'll be tweeting about you two later on. But Will, what a talent, as you say, should have won a major championship.
Yeah, just three times he's been runner-up. Really, tee to green, miles better than anybody else at the moment. The final round, obviously, putting just becomes a little bit of a thing. But being able to do what he has done over this young period of time, he's just out of this world, and he's only going to go from strength to strength.
Yeah,
great start of the future.
Many are tipping him for success this week. Looks in fine form. Okay, Richard Boxall, back to you.
Dankeschön. Anyway, that was a nice little bit of fun with those two there. Look at the course there. Look how crispy it is, the fairways. They really are bouncing. They're really absolutely rock solid. Beginning to split, probably, in certain places. You can actually throw the ball onto the fairway. If it's slightly facing towards you, it will actually bounce back towards you. It's that hard.
It is... it's exceptionally hard. I tell you what, it makes it a flat golf, but it does make it quite a hard walk because it's like walking on concrete.
It very much so, yeah. There's no give at all, is there? Victor Hovland here just warming up. Now, what time does Victor stride onto this links here?
Victor's out with 10.09 with
10.09.
Justin Thomas and Shane Lowry, so that'll be a lovely threesome to follow around.
Yeah. Just as well our producer's on the ball, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Shouting that in our ear, which is quite handy.
Is that what that voice in my head is? I wonder what it was.
There's a few. There's
Yeah.
some funny noises going on. But anyway, we seem.
Now, what do you think of Victor's chances this week? You liking his game?
Yes. I mean, I liked his game from the word go, but his form, his bad form is a lot of people's good form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With his results.
Yeah.
But listen, you know what? You do know what it's like. I mean, you being a champion yourself, it's all about confidence. You get off to a decent start. You answer a few questions early on. It makes all the difference.
Yeah, I'd actually be surprised if he does go well this week, purely because if ever there's a part in your career where it's not going well, this is not the sort of course I don't think you need to have hitting lovely, nice, high, soft shots, and this is just not what you're going to get this week. So it'll be interesting. It'll be great to see how he goes, and you wish him all well, but not good form coming in. No,
he's done all right so far. Bless him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Well, he's had, three PGA Tour wins, which is never too bad. His best finish in this was 12th last year, so he has got links form. So
DP
that's
World
something
Tour
to go back on.
DP World Tour wins as well. He's tucked them under his belt already. But no, you're right, Laura. There are certain courses. St Andrews is one of them that, if you're not playing so well, it will find you out because everything tends to get over-exaggerated with the wind. Yeah. And another course that is an absolute killer for that is Valderrama.
Yeah, tight, difficult. Yeah.
The times you go to Valderrama, if you're not quite on your game, you think this is going to be painful.
Well, I think that 17th, third shot or second shot into 17 you'd send me packing. That would. If you weren't spot on, you're running up a 9 or a 10 there.
You are, and especially if you knock it a little bit too close with the layup, you think, do you know what? I really want my mummy now. This is not good. So it looks like it's hitting about, 4 iron, I suppose, something like that. About now, let's see what the flat carry on this one is. What have we got? Over 204 yards. 4 or 5 iron, I would have thought. Yep,
and it looks like he's just trying to hit a nice, easy, gentle fade, not trying to force it. He hits it very hard. I mean, all these guys do. They're very committed to every single shot, but it looks within himself.
How much do you think these players leave behind in the respect of they're trying 100%? Yes, I'll give you that. Yep. But actually, in the power of the swing, do you think they'd swing at 90%?
I think 90's spot on. I think very rarely, if you've got a long shot to carry over water, I know there's no water this week, but in general, you might go 100% just to make sure for the carry, but you'd never want to be on the edge of any shot unless you really had to be. You'd rather have a little bit in hand so you can feel it more than have to generate maximum power.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Plus the other thing, when you did give it maximum power, there was a fair chance it would go offline.
Well, my one was maximum power. I'd always come up short right because I'd spin out of it trying to hit it too hard. So right, yeah. It's like I say, it's never a great thing. Now and again you pull it off and you think, yes, I'm good, I can go. Yeah. It doesn't always work, I have to say.
As we were saying, great turf to hit off. Everyone's got a different swing. That goes to show there's no proper way to swing the club. Everybody's different. But Victor Hovland, I mean, how old is he now, Victor Hovland? Unless you've
Victor's
got it.
24 years old.
I was going to say I can't get to my H's in time.
Well, sorry, I'm tea times.
No, yes. Now this is where you're ahead of the game here with me with this one. Last year, what is he up to now, Victor? He's world ranking number 9 now. It's a big leap up early, isn't it? I mean,
he's done unbelievably well, and all his peers that have come up, they've all started winning lots of tournaments. Yeah. Obviously, like Scheffler and Burns, they're all winning a bit more than him. He was the one that was the first to go, and they've kind of caught him up, maybe just gone past him a little bit.
Ryder Cup player,
but he was fantastic, wasn't he? In the last Ryder Cup, I thought he was superb. Hovland. I know we got beaten badly at Whistling Straits, but he was the one that seemed to stand up and really play quite well.
He's going to be in the next one.
Oh, well, I hope so, but who knows? I hope so.
Yeah, no, I would have thought so. See how far that one flies. 225 with a ball speed of 151 miles an hour. And you've got a hang time of 7 seconds. Most of the players, to be honest, with a breeze like this, you have this sort of club, they're all going to be 6 of 1 and half a dozen, aren't they, really? It's hang time.
Yeah.
Unless you're nudging a low one in.
Now, this looks like a driving iron because his other colour has got a slightly different shaft in it. and it's got a different shape to it. So I reckon this might even be a 3-iron or maybe I'm not sure, a 2-iron. You'd only be hitting 217, but...
A few of the hybrids have been taken out the bags this week, haven't they?
Yeah, you want to keep it down. Yeah. Too much height on the ball is going to be your enemy. Even if the wind does die down to nothing, you still need to keep it on the ground as much as you can and use the slopes. And that's going to be the fun for me, watching how them and their caddies have done to work out where to land it, because they know roughly the pins, but I've heard... there's going to be a few different pins to what they're used to. They might have to rethink a couple of the holes, but on the whole, they've got a plan for every hole, I guarantee it.
And what have we got? We got a couple of days with not that breezy, but 10 to 15 miles an hour still makes a difference.
Oh, without a doubt. If you miss-hit it, and you can miss-hit it off these lies because they're that good, it'll soon get out of control.
It will. Let's see how far the 3-wood goes if he nuts it and gets it out the middle of the club.
What are you going to guess? I'm going to say 242.
I was going to go 242 as well, but I'll tell you what I will do. I'll go over that. I'll go back. We're only 10 out.
What are you going to say? 252. You're going to say?
I'm not looking at the screen. I was going to go for around about 250. What is it?
252.
Is it?
Well done. Look at you.
So let's see whether I would have thought he caught that quite nicely at 252 with the breeze slightly off the left. Maybe into.
That might go a bit higher, I'm going to say.
Well, this is what it would be at the 18th. 250. I think he may have gone a bit further than that.
Yeah.
Carry 198. I think he fatted that.
Yes, yeah. Didn't have. Maybe he was hitting his stinger with his 3-wood because it didn't half run a long way. But this is fun, isn't it? On 18, but apparently they were knocking it through the screen in practice with a 2-iron when the wind changed a bit. But I don't think that'll be the wind they play.
No,
that
actually on the proper course probably would have made it onto the green because that's quite green on that graphic there, but it's just like it's the colour of sand, that 18th and 1st, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. It really is, and it's only going to get drier.
It is, yeah. We'll have a little sprinkling of rain, and people say, well, what difference does that make to the course? Absolutely none whatsoever.
No.
Just made the grass grow a little bit.
Yeah, the grass was happy for a couple of minutes, but then it was back to baking. Very consistent, those last couple.
Yeah, there you go. Carry of 261 there for Victor Hovland. Well, this one says 2 yards uphill, and the first, which is a shared fairway, says 3 yards downhill.
We've lost a yard.
I can only presume because the tee is slightly raised up there. There you go. We'll go for that.
You're always thinking. That's the thing about you. You're always thinking boxy.
I have to say. And that's what you'd see have left for his second shot. Little pitch and run. It's amazing, no bunkers on that 18th hole, and they've seen so many 5s over the years. You don't quite get it right, and you go into that valley of sin, or you hit it too long, and then it's an easy 3-putt from the back of the green.
Yeah, it's probably the most fun hole, I think, in world golf, personally, because it's got everything. It's got the arena. Even if you just come here and lucky enough to get a round. It's the nicest place in Earth to be, and long hitters can have a go. You can putt through the Valley of Sin. You've got everything there. It's magnificent.
In 1984, I played the Open here, and in those days they had a 2-round and a 3-round cut, and I made both of them, and I played with Sandy Lyle on the last day.
Oh.
And he got clapped onto every tee, every green, knocked it round in 67.
Oh.
It all happened. Hold a 25-footer on the last. Crowd went berserk, and I think I was level par or something, but I was just in awe of Sandy as we went round. And I'd never ever stayed for the end. And it was the one that Seve won when he punches the air and he swings round.
Yeah.
And I finished 52nd in the event. I thought, what, I'm going to stay the night. I want to watch the finish of the Open. So we went through, and I walked into the stand at the back of the tee, and there was nowhere to sit at all. I said, is there not a player's bit? They went, no. So they said, there's one place you can sit. I said, where's that? That scaffolding just above that camera. Quietly walk around there and sit about. And the very camera that took that shot, every time I see that, which was a brilliant spectacle, I have to tell you, the noise and everything. But every time I look at that, I think, I'm sitting just above that camera.
You were there?
I was there, and I saw it, and it was brilliant. All the crowd coming up the 18th. It was absolutely brilliant.
He was special, wasn't he, Seve?
Slightly.
He was special.
Still to this day, you don't think the putt's going to go in. I remember looking at it and thinking, he just left that hanging on the hole on the right.
Yeah, just hanging, wasn't it? I can't believe they didn't clap you onto every tee and every green, by the way.
But maybe they were. I was a lot
that's what it was.
Hello, thank
you
you
were just
so
letting
much.
Sandy walk forward
I
a bit.
said, come on,
Yeah.
Sandy, you know the rules. It's for me, all this clapping. But you couldn't have played with anybody better, really, you know.
Oh, lovely man.
Yeah, it was great being Scottish and all that. It was very good, very good. And he holed from, the pin was about where the bottom of those arrows are like that, and he holed from about 25, 30 feet behind it.
Best reaction ever, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it was brilliant. The noise, you just wanted it to go on forever.
Yeah.
Now out with the driver now, Hovland.
Well, this is lovely. If we get back to that 18th, we should see a few on the green.
Yeah, I would have thought. Where is it? There we go. Now, how far is that carrot? Nearly 280 through the air. And then you've got a little bit of run out after that. And you hit that out on the course, you're going to get another 60, 50 yards of run, I would say.
Yeah, if you hit the fairway and you can even, if you even get a little downhill, my God, it could go forever, which is good in one way. But if it's slightly offline and you get that bounce, you could run into all sorts of trouble.
So off the range he goes. Few people making their way back towards the first tee. Go watch their favourites tee off. 156 players in the field. And the last tee off time, which is, let me tell you, from being off late myself, is not particularly pleasant, is 16 minutes past 4. Now, I remember teeing off here at 10 to 4 once, and I remember coming up the 18th, looking at the clock, and it was 10 to 10.
That's a long day, isn't it?
There's a lot of crisscrossing, isn't there, going on?
Yep.
And it's the only course on the open rota where you don't have any spectators in the middle. It all goes around the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unusual for that fact, isn't it? In fact, with the spectators, there's loads of crossways, so they get the options to go one side or the other. But as you say, it's an unusual thing, but it's just part of the tradition.
Yeah, you play holes like the 7th, and the next thing you know, someone's hitting golf balls over your head from the 11th tee as you're walking towards the green. Okay, there's plenty of... well, there's not plenty of key holes, but there are a few key holes round here.
The first hole on the old course has one of the widest fairways in golf and only measures 375 yards. But don't get complacent. With the prevailing wind into and from the left, there is a preference for hitting the approach from the right-hand side of the fairway. A safer tee shot down the left leaves a tougher approach with the wind directly across the player and landing onto a hard and fast putting green. The Swilcan Burn comes into play down the right of the fairway and in front of the putting green. The second hole measures 452 yards and it's a blind tee shot over the gorse, so the player has to commit to the right line off of the tee. But that correct line will change depending on the hole position. If it's on the left of the green, the play is down the right side of the fairway, and that risks bringing the pot bunkers into play in the right-hand rough. And the prevailing wind, well, that pushes balls in that direction. Anything left-hand side of the fairway will set up a second shot with a hard left-to-right wind onto a green that throws the ball right on landing. With the course playing hard and fast this week, picking the right club and landing spot is absolutely vital. Hole positions on the right are also protected by 2 large pot bunkers built ahead of the last Open in 2015. A 4 here is a very good score. The 480-yard fourth is another blind tee shot. The ideal line off the tee will again depend on the pin position. Long hitters may try to thread the needle and hit down a 15-yard stretch between the cottage bunker and thick rough. Taking a safer line down the 15th fairway is an option, but a small pot bunker awaits, and anyone finding that is likely to drop at least a shot. The further left you take your tee shot, the more your approach will ride that wind and kick off the left to right sloping green. That would leave a really tricky chip for your third shot. The green falls significantly from left to right and is more severe the further back the hole location is placed. If the hole is at the back, there is a greater onus on playing in from the right side of the fairway. The second par 3 on the course is arguably one of the toughest greens in world golf, with severe slopes from left to right and a prevailing wind from the left as well. Everything feels against the golfer at the very far end of the links. The large hill bunker to the left and strath bunker short along the false front, and the drop-off at the rear of the green reduce the target area significantly. Any tee shot that lands to the left of the hole will result in a difficult downhill putt. Shot shape is important here, with many players hitting a right to left to hold the ball against the wind. The 12th hole only measures 351 yards, but it's deceptively tricky because of a series of fairway bunkers that can't be seen from the tee. The prevailing wind is often helping, so the longer hitters have a chance at taking on the green. Others will choose to lay up short of the bunkers, leaving a long second shot into a challenging, heavily contoured putting surface. The top level of the two-tiered green is only 12 paces deep and demands pinpoint accuracy when the flag is located there. Whatever weather conditions, this is a great opportunity to make a birdie. The 13th hole measures 465 yards. The treacherous coffin bunkers await the tee shot with the prevailing wind out of the right. Once again, the strategy depends on hole location. If it's on the left or the middle of the green, a drive down the 13th fairway is appropriate. When the flag is on the right, the longer hitters may choose to go down the 6th fairway, over or left of the coffin bunkers. It's important to hit the approach with the correct shape to hold it against the wind and the contours of the green. That can be the difference between a birdie chance or a very real danger of a three-putt on one of the largest greens in the world at 98 yards deep. There's only one option from the 14th tee, right of the birdies and left of the out of bounds, which runs down the right-hand side of the hole. If you're long enough, you can have a crack at the green over hell bunker and a cunning pot bunker named pulpit. If you need to lay up, it's often best to go down the 5th hole. The prevailing wind out of the right and helping will mean approaching the green from the left will allow the golfer to stall the ball in the air against the wind. Approaching from the right with that helping wind and a green that throws the ball to the left could leave a really tough chip. The 418-yard-long 16th was the second toughest hole at the 2015 Open Championship. With the wind out of the right, there are a couple of options off the tee. The aggressive play is between the principal's nose bunker and the outer bound fence, where the golfer can ride the wind or cut a tee shot off of the principal's nose. Deacon Syme's bunker also comes into play a little further up if you choose to take that aggressive line. It's small, but it's penal. The safer option is left up the 3rd fairway, which leaves a second shot into that prevailing wind to a green with a steep rise at the front. Controlling that approach to get the ball landing on the flat of the top is absolutely vital. The road hole measures a beastly 495 yards, and it's one of the most iconic and challenging holes in world golf. With the prevailing wind out of the right, the line off the tee is often further right than you expect over the railway sheds. Either skirt the hotel and ride the wind to the 17th fairway, play it safe left down the second fairway, or risk the rough between the two. With a front or right pin position, players can take any option off the tee, but more thought is required when the road bunker is in play with the pin position. Some players choose to miss short or long and left and try their luck getting up and down from there. Long of the green should be avoided at all costs. With a red shale path, the road itself and the boundary of the course symbolised by a wall. And once you get on the green, it's no picnic either. Any four here is hard earned. The final hole at the Old Course features one of the widest fairways and most famous views in golf. Players can choose to go for the green or lay up off the tee, far enough back to control spin with the approach. A front hole location requires care, as the player will not want to be too close to the green with a difficult pitch, chip or putt through the Valley of Sin. The green slopes from back right to front left and gives you a great chance to finish with a birdie.
You know, I don't really know what to expect when playing. I think everyone said the course can play easy when it's sort of benign like this, wind-wise, and that the course has got some gnarly teeth if the wind picks up. So I think that kind of goes for all things golf, and you know, I'm hoping that I can kind of play in a week that's asking for a lot, but play in sort of every condition. I think I can only hope to sort of be in the mix. That's sort of why I love playing, is to be in the mix coming down the stretch on Sunday. You really can feed off the crowd and get involved with everyone, and I think the feel will be everyone realizes how special the tournament is, how special the property is, and you know, it landing on the 150th is so special that I think everyone's going to be sort of united in a sense of happiness, I guess, you know, on property. I think everyone's just going to be in a good mood.
Welcome back to Live at the Range on every single day. Started on Monday. This is shots that have been hit by everybody so far. Pick the one you fancy.
That could make you queasy, couldn't it, watching that? Look at that, though. I want to know who hit that red one, the highest shot. Nice.
Yeah, McIlroy, there's the longest carry. McIlroy 313, DeChambeau 312. Oigar, he can give it some sticks, 311. So can Arnaus, 308, and then Will Zalatoris, 308 yards. Zalatoris yet to win.
He's my pick this week, Zalatoris. Yeah, I really fancy his chances.
Yeah, well, yes, no, I quite think Matt Fitzpatrick, I know he likes that low-flighted sort of shape.
Yeah, I think he can adapt his game. I know he missed the cut last week in Scotland, but I think he's got a big chance.
You know, I would have picked Brandon Grace, but he's not playing.
No, yeah.
So that's new this week at the 150th Open Championship. All the shots the players have hit. That was fairly chock-a-block earlier on when Rory was hitting some shots, and that's how it looks. So it looks so far. Kim at 4 and a couple of players at 4 under par. I can tell you that Rory McIlroy got off to a great start. Tight pin, as Laura was saying, on that first hole. He must have been 45 feet past the hole. Well, he knocked it in, so a great start for McIlroy. Be quite a relief that, wouldn't it, when you think, oh, that's a beauty. What a start that is.
Oh, absolutely. All the build-up, all the questions, all been answered, and now he's just got to go and do it.
He has. First game off today, 6:35. Paul Lawrie led the way there, past champion in 1999. and he will have the 11:36 tee-off time tomorrow. And Calcavecchia, Fox and Morgan, Jediah Morgan, will have the first tee-off time on Friday morning. Cut coming tomorrow afternoon. 17 ties is the normal, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah, it's hard to. You couldn't predict the cut at the moment because we don't really know how the course. It looks like the scoring's decent, but until they make the real turn, the bulk of the field, and start playing 13 onwards, we don't really know.
We don't. Okay, it's time to get down to the duo again, which is Andrew and Di, as we see the helicopter just panning its way round.
They must know you're leaving soon, Boxy. Have you ordered that in? Have you for about half an hour?
Yeah, a couple of croissants, please, in there as well.
Lovely.
Cafe con leche. Anyway, I was leading to them down on the range there, but I don't know whether they're there or not.
As well.
Oh, they are there. Hello there.
Yes. Hello. We can hear you.
Good,
can you hear us?
Yes, we've got you now.
Dankeschön, Richard.
It's more like Trotter's little van, isn't it, Richard?
Okay, yes. Listen, you two. Let me just tell you what a good start that was. You wouldn't have seen it, but McIlroy, you're watching hit some balls, knocked it in from 45 feet on the first for a 3.
Awesome.
That's brilliant.
I saw it on my app.
What was he doing 45 feet away?
I don't know. There's a thing that runs across the front of that, because that flag is only sort of 6 foot on, 10 from the left. And you know what it's like, Andrew? You can't see that burn from back there.
Do you remember the story the first time Philip Walton played the first at St Andrews? A drive down the middle of the fairway, tried to play a low pitch and run.
No.
He says, where's my ball gone?
Did he?
Yeah. Didn't know Silken Burn was there.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's excellent.
Anyway, what are you going to talk about?
Well, golf.
Go on, then.
We are on the putting green, Richard. You do make me giggle. And we've got a massive crowd behind us, actually. Andrew, what's going on here? We've got lots of different little marks.
Yeah, the interesting thing is a lot of people won't get the chance to see, but sometimes there's these little lines make an appearance on the practice putting. What I will say, the green speed's normally up there about, well, this week it's about 10.3.
Right.
And
what does that mean to our viewers at home?
That's 10 feet 3 on a stimp, which is a little meter that you put a ball in a trough. You lift the trough up about a foot.
Yeah.
Once the ball will naturally just fall out that little trough, and when it releases, the measurement, the length that it goes away from the bottom of that little stimp meter determines the speed. This is about 10.3, which is pretty slow, but that's because of where we are, the types of greens, the slopes in the greens, and the elements that we have to contend with. Normally green speeds are up there about 12. So anyway, so we've got a couple of little lines here. We've got this line here, which is just straight line, straight to the hole. So pretty much player will put the ball on the line there, and he'll putt, and it'll be slightly inside to inside. Or some putters, the likes of DeChambeau, will be straight down the line and straight through the line. That's one of the chalk lines you will see. Interestingly enough, here, over on this one, we've got another chalk line which is pointing quite a bit left to the hole. Again, the player will stand on that. You've got to try and think that every putt actually is straight and put it straight down that line. But of course, that's actually aiming about a foot left of the hole. So that's a similar idea, but this one is more about the pace and the line, working it up with the line with the right pace to find the middle of the cup. So that one's a sort of straight one, more stroke. That one's more line and pace together, which around these incredibly sloping greens is obviously something that's of the utmost importance. So
there's lines all over the place.
Yeah,
it's the little dots as well. These two little dots, what are they for?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah,
Di.
maybe if they came further back. I don't know.
That's a very good question.
There's other sort of lines around the hole about
that's another putt from
8-10 feet away.
This one over here, I don't have a cameraman can see. This one, that's obviously now it's a right to left.
Yeah, so that's going to be coming.
So that's out there.
This way with the break.
There's an odd little round.
And we've got a little sort of
just without going too deep into the green, we just show this one here. It's a little string suspended on a couple of little poles either side, and that's just more of a 3D version of, in effect, what the white line is. The player will have the ball under that string, and the stroke, the idea is that they'll see the putter moving just sort of slightly inside to inside on that on that string line. So lots of little devices.
Yeah. Did you use a lot of these when you were playing?
I used everything die because I was an absolute basket case on the golf course. I needed as much help as I possibly could get.
Through the kitchen sink at it.
I tried to and ended up putting myself in all kinds of messes.
So you don't want to do too much, though, do you? You don't want to fill your brain with too many.
No, well, interesting talking about the 45-footer that Rory's had in the first. Rory really has learned through Brad Fraxton to go back to putting how he was as a kid. He's taken technique away from his forethoughts, away from his conscious thoughts. He's put them much more into the subconscious, and he's freed himself up a bit. And as a result, we're starting to see Rory McIlroy really flourish on the greens.
Wow, that's amazing. And we've spoken over the last few days. Paul McGinley's alluded to, you know, it's about the putting around these greens, 20 feet, 40 feet, 60 feet. These are shots that players haven't done before.
Yeah, look, putting here is crucial. Because of the enormous scope of the greens, you're almost never going to get through St Andrews without having a 3-putt. So if you can control the speed and the pace, you know, you're going to pick up 1 or 2 shots on the field. This is where it's going to be won and lost.
And what just a massive confidence boost to Rory on the first. A 45-footer, I mean, put that in your back pocket, move on to the second tee thinking, right,
Two things. A, you're thinking, right, ball's going in. B, you've already got the line and the pace. So you're walking out there thinking, right, that's a great start. And much easier, much better doing that than knocking it in there to 10 foot, 12 foot and knocking it by the side. You're like, this is going to be a long day.
Totally.
So
totally different thought process.
The whole aspect of something like that is taken. He's sort of got one against the head already, and he's off and running.
Yeah, and one up against Anders Schauffele and Colin Morikawa, who he's playing with. Well, we are going to stay here on the putting green. We might move over to the short game area, but for now, let's get to George. George, over to you.
Well, I'm not sure you can notice the tidal wave of golf fans here. We're on the first hole, and it's starting to get packed. And you want to know why? Well, it's pretty obvious. Rory McIlroy is on course, and what a feature group it is. He's joined by defending champion Colin Morikawa and the recent Scottish Open champ Xander Schauffele. Look at the crowds. I'm not sure if you get on this high point here. We're on the Himalayas, which is an 18-hole. Thank you very much. This is where they play mini golf, and it is absolute scenes here. Everyone trying to get a small glimpse of this amazing group. You have to be tall around here to get a good view.
Exactly.
Who are you here to see?
Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods, of course.
Oh, nice. How special is it to see these guys in the flesh?
It's amazing. It's a dream come true, really.
Where are you from?
Sweden.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Everyone loves Rory. It's as simple as that. And then if we come through here, look at who I've found. Excuse me, guys. Could I just squeeze through here? Could I just squeeze through here? Sorry, mate. Excuse me. Who are you here to watch?
You're actually putting me like this and some here.
Yeah, this is
Thanks.
live.
Very nice.
So this is
I'm here.
Xander Schauffele's dad, and you're standing pretty far away. Not the best view with all these people.
It's hard to get a good view here. There's a lot of people here.
How cool is it to be in a feature group like this at the Open Championship? You must be proud as punch.
Well, I'm not in it.
No, and we can't have that.
We can't have that. I would leave depressions on the greens. It's not good. Although they're really, really firm. Yeah.
Really firm.
So yeah, I don't know how it is to be in a feature group. I've never been in one. I'm sure it's cool for him. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? You enjoying the week?
Yes, it's wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful so far.
All right. Well, I'm going to get him off the camera before he says something. So he says something we don't want to say. How are you guys? Great to see you. So yeah, I always come out of nowhere. I'm very. Well, to be fair, I didn't expect to see you, but you're hard to miss. Oh, here we go. I feel like I'm in a zoo. Absolutely lost here. But how exciting is it? Everyone here knows that this is one of the great groups to watch today. So make sure you're out on course. Find a good seat early. Oh! Hold the phone! Rory! Rory! That is a huge putt on the first. You little beauty! Oh, Rory! Go, Rory! Oh, whew. Rory's underway. 1 under through 1.
Good old George there, joining in all the jovalities of a putt going in. Now back to the range here. Marco Penge just clipping a few early sand irons away off the turf there.
Yeah, he's obviously just got here, just the start of his warm-up. Just try and get a little bit of time in, a little bit of tempo, get those muscles going. He's probably been in the trailer already and had a good old half an hour stretch with his trainer or one of the guys that's here with the tour every week.
Top left, 11.04, that's the time he is off. And he's playing with Thomas Dietrich. We were watching him hit some putts earlier. I can't believe Thomas Dietrich hasn't won yet. He's a fine player. He got close. He lost in the playoff in Scotland last year. But, you know, a win is a win, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a great player.
Oh, fine player. Love his ball striking, love his game. But it's hard to win. You know, people think, oh, he hasn't won and he hasn't had enough wins.
Yep.
But getting one win's an accomplishment. Getting multiple wins, that's when you're getting into the realms of the special players, and then you get to the likes of Justin Thomas and Rory, and it's a different level, isn't it?
It is. It is. Third member of this group, as I say, Marco Penge on your screen there, Thomas Dietrich, and Richard Mansell will be playing. Richard Mansell qualified at Hollingwell. Well, this will be Mansell's second Open. So that's actually, Mansell's got a nice draw there, you'd say.
Yeah, very nice. He'll be concentrating on his game, but it's always nice to be out there with some good players and nice guys, and you don't want to be chatting, but you know, the odd long walk down fairways, a little chat.
Yeah.
What'd you do for dinner last night? Just the normal stuff.
Yeah, I remember playing here. I played here 1984. I played with, do you remember John Bland? John Bland, South Africa,
yes,
and Larry
absolutely.
Mize.
Oh, no, yes, yep.
Back in the days, can't remember the year. When was the year he chipped in against Norman in the Masters?
Oh.
Was that 83, 82?
No, I'm going to say 87.
Are you?
Bit of a big long shot. No. Yeah, I'm going to go 87. Probably wrong.
I think you should have a little look at that on your phone, Google it and have a look. Well, just incidentally, that if you were wondering where Justin Rose is, Justin Rose has had to pull out because of a lower back injury. He hurt his back on the 4th during practice yesterday, and he had all the treatment possible to try and get it right, but he just didn't feel this morning when he got onto the range that he was able to compete. So unfortunately he had to pull out. Anyway, just before we get to Di and Andrew at the range, I want to say that, Laura, you were right. It was 1987.
1987.
It must have been 1990 that I played with Larry Mize and John Bland there, because I did remember mentioning to him, you know, about his chipping.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go. Let's get to Di.
Thanks very much, Richard. Andrew, we've been here on the range this morning, super excited about day one. Who are you looking forward to seeing later on?
That's not a difficult question
no, it's
to
not,
answer.
No, I think I know.
I think the whole world's looking forward to seeing Tiger Woods peg it up there, 3-time champion, obviously 15-time major champion. He's back. He decided to skip the US Open so that he could guarantee that he would be in a good physical shape to play here this week. He's already had a tremendous preparation, thoroughly enjoyed the Champions match out there.
It certainly has, yeah. It's been fantastic. Well, if you've missed any of Live at the Range over the last 3 days, here is exactly what it's all about. Take a look.
Get up. Oh, wow. Wow, you put on a show for us today. You'll take that? Well, I don't think you can. 10 quid says you don't. Go on. Go on. Oh, no! Absolutely perfect golf. And a well-deserved. Well-deserved. You've got to pay your debts. Scottish as well.
There's Billy Horschel. Man hug. Early in the morning on a Monday.
I have a wonderful, smiley, busy open zone here. Tommy Fleetwood is leading the charge.
Time to come on the range, and we've got very special company with Ash Barty here. Ash, welcome to the Open. Now, there's a lot of people that love golf on this driving range, but none more so than a cricketer. Kevin Peterson, welcome to the Open.
There you go.
Nice.
Good shot.
Got Brad Simpson joining me now on the range. Brad, welcome to St Andrews. What a week.
Juan Postigo. Juan, it's great to be with you.
He doesn't watch it until it hits the ground like most of us do. See?
Cameron, I'm trying to get you to stay.
Would you rather Everton won the league or you win the Open?
I would much rather me win the Open.
Adrian Maronk, he has never played with Tiger, and he was rocking up to the tee this morning and happened to be a little bit early. So Tiger asked, can I join in? You're not going to turn that down, are you?
Have you ever seen it this firm, the ground?
No.
Yeah.
Like even here, I'm trying out some different bounces on wedges, and even here, it's soft here. And then you get in the golf course, honestly, it's as firm as I've ever seen any golf course ever.
How about that for a graphic, Anthony Wall? There you go. All the drivers been hit today.
148 front plus 24 is 172.
Oh, he loves the low ball flight. Great shot.
The 14th fairway's up here on the shelf, and then there's a pretty dramatic. Thank you.
Nearly lost my way there.
Thank you for that example.
You probably put the jinx on me now. I'm going to miss it.
Oh, Foxy. You can't tell me that was on purpose.
Look, I've just hit it past Smithy, so I tried to hit it low, maybe not quite that low, but it's in the middle of the fairway.
I come bearing one more gift, actually.
Another one?
Yeah, just to keep you under control. I've got a little hair tie, so if we could just get that in. Let's get this up. Here we go.
I'm in bounds, by the way.
You're not.
I am, I can see it.
I need help with this. How do you do this? Here we go.
This isn't good content.